Heyo, welcome to tonight's show. I want to say that I am feeling oodles better. I was not feeling good today. I was just like laid out and I was like, I was pretty funky. And now I'm not feeling funky. Now I'm feeling like a monkey. I'm like, a monkey that's not funky and it feels great. So I don't know. Whatever bad juju passed over. I'm done. I'm good. As you can see, I'm ready for the desert in my wonderful shirt. I'm ready, to dance with the cactuses. I'm ready to dance with the swallows. That would make for a good poem. Welcome to tonight's show. We have a returning guest. He's been here before. We had a great chat. I honestly, he and I, we never stop texting. We every once in a while, we catch up and bullshit pitter patter in the text. And I always like, hey man, we got to have you back on the show, and just trying to find a time when the sun and the stars and the moon align, and that happens to be tonight. And so here I am with we've brought back Robert Arce. I hope I said his last name correct. Yeah, I did. He just nodded in the digital green room. Robert Arce with Atom Age. Atom Age, an interesting corporation. We've talked about Atom Age before. We'll ask again what's new, what's going on, what's in the brew, what's in the stew, this, that, and the other. So let's bring him out. Let's open. We're gonna open up the trap door and just. Can you hear me knocking, Robert? Can you hear me knocking? Okay, let's bring him in. Hey ho! How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Me, I'm great. I just realized I didn't test my microphone, but I guess my microphone sounds okay.
Can you hear it? I can hear you.
I hear it. Oh, I hear
Okay.
it. Yeah. If I can hear it, if you can hear it, then I can hear it. And everything's good and great. How are you, man? You're doing okay?
Yeah, just some challenges aside, health stuff and some other crap going on, but other than that, I'm good.
Good.
How are you, man? How was your vacation?
My vacation was good. I was feeling, I didn't tell you this, but I was feeling pretty sick earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Not feeling sick anymore. I'm feeling pretty great. I'm very excited. On Sunday, I'm going to see the Odyssey in 70 millimeter IMAX. I think it's IMAX. No, it's 70. Yeah, it's 70 millimeter IMAX, which is different from full IMAX.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to take my son. My son, I don't think he really gives two shits of a shinola about that stuff, but when he's older, he'll be able to say, yeah, my dad took me to see, the see things the proper way in the proper format, and he'll be grateful. Hopefully.
Those father-son moments are the bonding experiences are good. I mean, I went to see Dawn of the Dead with my dad and The Thing,
Yeah,
all that
that's
stuff
great.
back in the early 80s.
Hell yeah.
Fond memories for sure.
He actually turned me on to Devo.
Oh,
I never didn't like Devo, but my son, hey Aaron, how are you? My son absolutely got hooked on Devo because he's got a little Alexa in his room, so he plays stuff. No, he heard Devo. He did hear Devo for me. He heard Uncontrollable Urge because I drive him to school every day, and I have my mix on shuffle. So he heard Uncontrollable Urge, and that sent him down a rabbit hole far deeper than I have ever traveled with Devo. And then he in turn was like, Dad, I really want to see Devo live. And they were coming to the Capitol, which is
Passaic, right?
It's not in Passaic. There is a Passaic Capitol. There's also a Capitol up in Peekskill in Westchester, in a place called Port Chester within Westchester, where I live, right down the way, this way. There is the very famous, iconic Capitol Theater, where that was made famous by the Grateful Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to play, in a way, how they had Fillmore East and Fillmore East and Fillmore West, is it?
Yes,
right?
that's right.
Right.
Yep.
So I would say this is Fillmore North, Northeast. And it was Phil Lesh's favorite place, and Bobby Weir. they would hold residencies there. And I've seen Iggy Pop there and the Pixies and now Devo and Fiddler. So I took the boy and we had oh my God, did we have a good time. And they played every song that he wanted to hear, which made me really happy.
Yeah.
And I was just blown away by the stage show. They are very potent at 50 years old. The band.
Well, the band is 50. The band are like 80 almost.
Right. That's what I mean. Like the band is 50 years old and still out there kicking and touring. Not many bands that are 50 years old still out there putting on a quality show. And I would say Devo is absolutely Devo are legends, right? They're freaking legends.
I totally agree. I worked with them in the past, and
I didn't know that.
Oh, I was the merch guy for 10 years.
You were the merch guy for everybody. That's what we should be. That's what we need to be talking about here. And you worked for SST.
I worked at SST. I worked at Epitaph.
Yeah, but tell me about. So, what was it like working for Devo?
Well, Devo was cool. It's definitely two factions. There's the Mothersbaugh faction and then the Casale faction.
Okay, explain that to me. I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so Mark Mothersbaugh is the singer, and Bob Mothersbaugh is his brother.
Right.
And Bob is the guitar player.
Right.
And then there's Jerry Casale, who's the bass player, but he's the one who sings Whip It. Mark sings other songs, so they're all related. They're all brothers. They all went to Kent State University in Ohio. Yeah. Oddly enough, if you know much about the band.
I don't. I really
round on the ends and high in the middle. Ohio. Wow. Yeah, that's their joke.
Why is everybody a spud? What's the spud thing?
It's that I don't remember too much about. But like General Boy is their dad, and it's all kind of related. But spuds, I think, are just cohorts or
they're fans, but
followers. Yeah,
their followers, their legions are spuds.
Spud
I just don't understand.
I'm just a spud boy. Yeah.
Oh, is that what? That's what it comes from, maybe.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, every song they play, and it's like some of the songs I like. Obviously, "Girl You Want" is a song that everybody knows, but nobody is like thinks to their heads. Like cognitively, there's never a time where you're like, "Oh, that's a Devo song." Like we all know that song, but you're never like, "That's a Devo song."
Yeah, for sure. And even like Soundgarden covered that song, and like a bunch of people.
Yeah,
song. It's great, but yeah, like those guys are just super, super smart, genius level, and super talented. I mean, I remember being on tour, and you hear the stage intro. They have this giant backlit stage. I don't know if they still do, but
they did
full programming thing of all this
LED
different stuff.
LED walls.
Yeah, those LED walls. They travel in a big semi with them.
Wow.
And, anyway, yeah, it was really entertainment on multiple levels, and really interesting people for sure.
Were they doing the bouncy ball thing back then?
A little bit. They would chuck out energy domes. Like I would make the energy dome hats. Like
you did.
Yeah, we would vacuum form them like the old Ben Cooper masks and stuff.
Yeah,
we had an aluminum tool that was shaped like an energy dome.
Yeah,
and so they heat up the plastic in these big red sheets, and then they have an aluminum tool that comes underneath and it has little tiny holes. It sucks down the plastic onto the aluminum tool.
No way.
And then that's how they're made, and they're cut at the bottom at the base. So they're all uniform. That's the way that the old Ben Cooper masks are made too. But those get painted. These are actually red plastic.
I've seen that. I'm familiar with the process. Like I've seen videos of the process. It's very strange. It's like what you're describing it's a template is like a 3D object is the template.
Yep.
And then you take, what is this? You heat. Yeah. Right. You heat up
it's a big giant
of plastic
sheet of PVC. Yeah. And they just take the blowtorch and they heat it up, or they take a heating tool and they make it hot to the touch, but they melt it without melting it completely. And then they pull it down onto the tool. The first tool was wooden, so I think it works wood or aluminum. But futuristic stuff, they got into aluminum and stuff. But we even did a set of chrome ones for Tony Hawk and some other people when I was working for the band. Yeah, like there was only like 10 chrome ones made, but they sent them to all their friends. So if you're walking around in a chrome dome, you're VIP. You're DEVIP. That's right.
DVIP. They were spectacular. They played. My son's favorite Devo song is "Freedom of Choice."
Yeah,
and I love "Gates of Steel." In fact, it's funny. I I think I heard covers of Gates of Steel before I actually heard the original Gates of Steel. I was like, oh my God. I think Gates of Steel is like the Devo song for me personally. I mean, there's so many great ones, but like that is just top-notch Devo. I really enjoy that.
For sure. Big Drill Car did a couple of Devo songs.
Yes, and I think Big Drill Car did Gates of Steel.
Gates of Steel, or what was the other one? Freedom of Choice. They definitely did on Batch, which is their last SST or Cruise album.
I didn't know Big Drill Car was a SST band.
Well, Cruise is part of SST. So there was SST was the parent label, and Cruise was the offshoot label for all Chemical People and Big Drill Car. And then New Alliance, Greg Ginn bought from D Boon, or got when D Boon passed away.
Yeah.
That was D Boon and Mike Watt's label. So they are all kind of three labels in one.
Trying to find the name of the Big Drill Car song that I have on my playlist that I fucking love. Very 90s sounding song. I'm trying to remember what. Oh man, it's not showing me. That really bothers me.
They had a lot of stuff on comps and like one-off songs on different things. There's that big one, LA comp, which is like a flip side related comp from the early 90s.
Takeaway. You know the song Takeaway?
That's the best version of Takeaway. It's not on the Batch album. It's on that big one comp that I'm talking about.
The one that on Batch, you said?
Well, Batch, it's a re-recording done by Bill and Stefan from Descendants, but the original recording was done at West Beach Recorders by Brett Gurewitz.
Really?
And it's a different version. It's so much better. It's on that comp. It's on the white comp that they released later on of all the B-sides and stuff. But anyway, that version is way better. I've actually had conversations with record producers about how much better that version is versus the Batch one. Yeah.
You got to send it to me and send it to me on YouTube or something. Yeah, I'm curious to hear it. I absolutely love that song Takeaway. And I just it kills me because I have a giant working playlist that just is, it's like, 88 hours. And it kills me because I take songs that I hear on Spotify that I love. I don't even know the name of the band or the title. I'm like, that's great. I feel like a record producer. I feel like an A&R guy. I'm like, that's the one. That's the one. And I take them and I pull them into this playlist, and then I hear them and I know them, but I don't, know the songs of the bands. And it's just really annoying when it comes to talking about music sometimes because.
Who's great that you turned me on to was Jay Retard, Blood Visions.
I turned you on to Jay Retard.
That record is just insanity. Like, it's so good. I was like, holy crap. Then the visuals are like Initium. Like, it's like him covered in fake blood, it looks like. And anyway, that record from start to finish is like, holy shit. Like, and I remember when he died, I remember hearing about him dying. I didn't really know who he was. Yeah. And now that I've heard that record, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I didn't see him in time,
It kills me because I would have seen Jay. There are shows like that. I don't know if you've watched the Cake Place show from 2007 on YouTube, but if not, I'll send you that link.
Okay.
I would have been, because I was going to shows in the 2000s in the city. I would have been at that show if I had known about Jay at that time. Yeah. And I remember, I had heard the name in passing, but I never cared or thought to check him out. And it was like 3 years after he died that I got into Blood Visions was my introduction. I was writing my first screenplay that eventually turned into Romeo's Distress. And I would listen to Blood Visions every single day, start to finish, 3 times in a row. You could get a whole hour. You listen to it 3 times in an hour. And I prefer that about album. I like a good record that is short, that you can listen to 3 times in a row. Yeah. I'll just put it back on over and over again. And Blood Visions, that whole album all the way through. I like the second one. The second solo record is great. Matador singles are great. And what was great about Jay was that, like, Jay, for being a garage punk, garage rock guy, Jay was a dude who understood songcraft, and he worshipped and respected the greats. Like, Jay was a Beatles guy. And you would think that a guy like from that scene would not be, but a lot of those dudes, like Russell from the Mummies, also a huge Beatles guy. All these dudes, they understand, they respect and understand songcraft by the masters, and fold it in. So that's great. Yeah, it's a shame that we never got to see him.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen videos pop up in my feed where he's playing some pretty decent looking shows and stuff, but yeah, it's unfortunate.
I did not know I turned you on to that record. That's crazy, dude.
It's a fantastic record. I was like, holy shit, this is so good.
Did I ever recommend to you Dark Thoughts? Do you know who Dark Thoughts are?
You know what? Last time I was on, you gave me a bunch of stuff. Yeah, and I have a Post-it note on my desk of all those recommendations that you gave me. So I'm about 3/4 of the way through.
That's great, man. That's great. Yes, Jay did have beef with Marky Ramone. They did have beef. And so here's what's crazy is that here's what's like crazy and also kind of like sad. So Jay, long after Jay died, he had a blog and he was very active on Twitter. Like he's active on Twitter at like the dawn of Twitter. It's crazy. Okay. Yeah. He was very like in tune with that. And I could only imagine what he would be like now. His tweets, I think you could still find his tweets. In fact, I should just do a show on his tweets alone, because I did a show on his website, which was long defunct. But what was crazy was Jay, who was so prolific. This guy wrote and recorded like hundreds and hundreds of songs in 15 years. In 15-year period, he started when he was 15 and he finished when he was 29 years old, right? That's when he died. This dude, he put out 200 releases, and he had hundreds of songs, some of which different versions, some of which were never released, some of which were. What he would do is he would put out demos onto his website. I started downloading all these demos, and I made a Google Drive of those songs. And when we did a Jay show on here, we went through all of his old blog posts, and one of them was about his beef with Marky Ramone. Here's what's crazy. That website is gone now.
Oh, bummer.
It's gone. Like whoever was keeping it alive, like decade after his death, took it down. And the video, I think you could find maybe some old versions of stuff on the Wayback Machine. But I think the songs, we saved the songs because the songs were, on the server, on the website, that would have all been lost to time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I hope the family is, aware of what they have on their hands and is taking care of it.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. Did you watch the doc about him?
No, I haven't watched that, but I'd like to see it for sure.
Before moving on in topics of conversation, I must say about the documentary is absolutely like requisite viewing about Jay, because they were making a documentary about him when he died.
And actually, I think I do remember seeing portions of it somewhere. Is it streaming anywhere?
I'm going to check right now. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. It's called Better Than Something. And
yeah, you know what? I have vagueness of him dying on the tour or whatever, and they're filming like what's going on. So I don't know if it was snippets I found on my feed or what happened, but I know I've seen parts of it. So
and so he was making that they were making that doc about him, and he died. And there are moments, they're so eerie. It's just it's your typical what's it called? When you have premonition of, early premonition before tragedy strikes, that sort of thing. But it's just so interesting to see this portrait of this dude he was a gnarly fucking dude too. Like there are some videos of him like just getting into fights. That cake shop video where someone like unplugs his shit and he's just like kicks him and he's like, back off, fucker, like in the middle of the song. It's like he was like just a real. And what I really loved about Jay and his ilk, and it was not about looking a certain way. It was just like music was the business, in the sense of like, we came here to, like, they're not selling you a vision in the Blood Vision. The Blood Visions are sonic. They're not visual. It's just a bunch of guys in white t-shirts, like Black Flag, I guess, but also different, and just wanting to play turbo fucking fast, but not trying to be the Ramones. What happened was the beef with Marky was he played with the Intruders.
Oh.
And they did a show with the Intruders, and he was just like, he just really did not like the Intruders, and he did not. And Jay, in these blog posts, he was very combative, and he got into it with Marky over some stuff. And yeah,
I've worked with Mark before. Have you heard the Dust album that Mark plays on?
No, I've not heard. So there's 2 Dust albums, right?
2 Dust albums, and they're actually really good. You should check them out if you get a chance.
No, I've never listened to it.
Mark's a stellar drummer, and he still is. I'm seeing videos of him playing in Europe and stuff, and he's just, those 8th notes. He's just like so fast and so good. More power to him. But I've had good experiences with Mark, mostly good, and I've had some not good ones too. But it is what it is. Like, but yeah,
he's great on Blank Generation too.
Yes, that record is just another one that you can throw on
all the way through.
Yeah, all the way
through. Fucking Love Comes in Spurts.
Yep.
All the way. Betrayal Takes Two. Like that entire album. John of Doom is here. He says, "Hey Robert, got any shirts?" He wants to know if you have any shirts. Looks like you got a lot. You got some cool shirts, man. I was noticing. I was looking on it when I was putting together my thumbnail. I was just looking at some of your very tasty designs. Tasty Winslow, real tasty.
Yeah. That's funny. Man, I just love that movie, and it's like all these. And Tanner and I were talking about this the other day. He's like a big fan too, and
he told me. Tanner told me that.
Yeah,
that he's a big fan.
Anyway, I just love that film, and actually, that's one of the ones that you were talking about, movies that need a 4K upgrade, and that's definitely one of them.
Hell, fucking yeah,
4K upgrade.
I don't know if you can see it. You see that poster right there? That's a Phantom. That's the Scream Factory Phantom poster. Hold on, let me see if I can. I don't know if you can see it. Whatever. You know what it is. It's a great poster. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
You know what I have that you might. I was told Tanner about this too. I have the original script.
Oh.
Before it was called Phantom of the Paradise, it was just called the Phantom.
Yeah.
And it's
is it signed in blood by Swan?
It's not signed. I wish it was. In fact, Swan's name is not Swan in it. He has a different name. It's actually, there's a lot of different elements. I haven't sat and read it all the way through, but I find it very interesting. It's a fucking masterpiece, dude. That's why I love when people I love people that know Rocky. If you're down with Rocky Horror, that's one thing, but you're on another level if you're down with Phantom of the Paradise, if you know about Beef and all that.
I have a Beef shirt coming. You're going to love it.
Do you really? Wow. Yeah. Is it this one where he's like this?
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
I've seen some other ones out in the marketplace that are pretty funny, but anyway, yeah, Beef shirts coming. I was just at Monsterpalooza back in May, and Paul Williams was there signing. And
Did you meet him?
Kicking myself because I didn't have time to go. I'm the only one running my booth, and people are walking by with signed stuff, and I'm like, God damn it, it's so good. But
dude,
I didn't know that he wrote for Three Dog Night and the Muppet Show and all that crazy music.
He wrote the Rainbow Connection.
Yeah, just insanity.
He was on an episode of Billy Corgan's podcast.
Billy Corgan. I saw that.
Yeah.
Billy Corgan's actually a pretty well. I've met him once.
Yeah. How was he when you met him?
He was okay because I was with Brian Wilson at the time, and he was a little bit nice because he was around Brian Wilson.
I love how you just randomly pull out. I was just with Brian Wilson. God damn it, dude! What the fuck?
Anyway, Brian Wilson was one of my clients too at Chaser. But anyway, Billy Corgan was at UCLA and sat next to him for the whole show. And we talked about little things here and there, but he's great. The podcast he does is great too. He's got some good questions and knows a lot about music,
I absolutely love his podcast. Him as a person, I've heard varying things on. He's very what's it called, polarizing kind of guy. But to sit and listen to his podcast and his appreciation for all forms of music, like to hear him talking to Elliot Spitz or he had Jack Douglas on his podcast. That was really rad. He's very good. One thing that he does that I don't like is that he will sometimes, like, they'll be cooking with something that maybe isn't exactly what he wanted answered. Yeah. And he'll interrupt them to like reaffirm the question. It's just like, bro, let them cook. They're saying something interesting. Let's let it go. Let it riff. And he knows how to talk. Like his history with Sharon Osbourne, to get her to open up like that on the show. And that
she was his manager. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yes. That's what I mean. The history. Yeah. They had a huge feud. They got into a big fight. He fired her or she fired him or something. So, for her to come on the show and, to open up, she really goes deep with her history and whatnot. It was very interesting. And he knew how to coax it out of her, so he's a very good interviewer, I think. Gene Simmons, that was amazing.
Yeah. I didn't watch the Simmons one, but I will watch that one because, as crazy as Simmons seems to be, or as evil and mean as he seems to be, he's actually not. He's just looking out for himself, which you got to do, but I'm sure he'd be, if you got the right questions, he would probably be a great interview.
Dude. So that interview in particular, I said when I was trying to sell my friend on watching that particular show, it's like, this is he's talking to the real Gene. He's actually talking to Gene. He's not talking to, he's talking to Gene Simmons, but he's talking to the guy, the real Gene beneath Gene Simmons, who's actually very intelligent, very well read, very much, he's a boomer. He's very much a boomer, but like, he, and just in terms of his, like some of his, conservative values and whatnot, but, and yes, he's an asshole, but there is Gene Simmons, the persona, and then there's the real Gene Simmons, and Gene Simmons does not know how to turn that off sometimes. And sometimes it's just it's atrocious. And like he did a show he did Bobby Lee's show. They did like a game show thing. Bobby Lee, the comedian, and his other guy, they did Bad Friends. It was like a game show. And Gene Simmons was insufferable. And you can tell he's trying to keep up with the bit. He's trying to do a bit. He's trying to be the persona of Gene Simmons, and it just, it comes off so horrible. It doesn't work. But when he's personable, when he talks about, and it's interesting too, when people talk about, like, I don't want to get political here, but like politics of location, in the sense that, Americans hate America for a lot of reasons. We all have our hangups about this country, but when you speak to someone who came to America from somewhere else, right? And Gene talks about what that was like why he thinks America is the greatest country in the world. And even if you don't agree with him, to hear his perspective from his point of view, considering his background and everything, it's fascinating, and valid. So
100% valid. I mean, I've been all over the world, and I can tell you, America is still, pretty good deal for your money. I'll go to, go to England and buy something, and it's like double for the same thing you'd get here in America.
That's crazy.
And that's the stuff he's talking about, which is, again, politics aside, but I kind of agree. I live in the middle politically, like, I'm not a lefty or a righty. I'm like in the middle. I agree with some of it, and I kind of keep my mouth shut, but anyway, I understand where he's coming from. And I had my grandparents were in World War II, and I get it. It was a different world back then.
Different world. Have you listened to Evan and Nick's so Paul Stanley's son and Gene Simmons' son? They have teamed up. Yeah, they're doing a band. Have you heard that? I say this from the bottom of my heart, like genuinely. They are genuinely really fucking good. Like, awesome. I was like, because this could be any which this could be any which thing, right? Like it could be, just nepotism up the wazoo. It could just be, whatever. But Paul Stanley is right in this regard. I got to tell you, as frustrating and as annoying and as irritating as those two guys are, I also have I really do have immense respect for both of them, because they're both kind of like, wallflower weirdo kind of guys who basically like catapulted themselves to stardom, like put themselves on posters in every kid's bedroom, basically informed so many musicians with almost Beatle-like influence in certain aspects. So the idea when Paul Stanley, he goes, he says what he says about nepotism is, it's like, first of all, sure, you should utilize connections that you have, but ultimately nepotism will only get you so far. You have to be good.
Yeah.
If you're not good,
it's on merit in the long run.
It's just not going to, it doesn't matter. It just genuinely doesn't matter. And I'm thinking about every single example of nepotism in some way, shape, or form. And I have to say, he's right. He's right.
100%.
And so to hear those two guys, Nick and Evan, and they call themselves Stanley Simmons, which is valid.
Yeah.
You're Stanley and a Simmons, right? I like they're calling themselves Kiss 2.0. They get that question every time they do a TikTok live. They get that question: "Are you going to be Kiss 2.0?" And they say, "No, of course not." But I listened to the music. I was like, "Wow, like genuinely talent, genuinely good songcraft, genuinely talented." They're kind of doing like a hippy dippy thing, which is fine. And I'm excited to listen. I'm going to check out their record whenever they like their full length, whenever it comes out. I'll check it out. I was just to hear what they're doing.
Two quick things about Kiss. Yeah. So there's a Famous Monsters anniversary post recently in the last week or so, and they interviewed Gene Simmons for it, and you can see the real Gene Simmons in this Famous Monsters thing too, because he talks about Forey and he talks about all the great famous monsters of filmland, how it got him through his childhood, and just so you can see it there. And that, if you find that interview on social media, it's there. But anyway, you could see that there's a real Gene Simmons and a persona. And then I think I told you about my friend who ran into Paul Stanley at Tower Records.
No, tell me.
We were working at Chase, or we were out late in Hollywood one night, dropping something off or something, and we went to Tower Records, and there's this like Guido looking guy with his chest hair hanging out of his shirt, and he's like just flipping through records, and my friend goes, "That looks like Paul Stanley." And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I wasn't a huge Kiss fan at the time, and I'm still not a huge Kiss fan, but I like Kiss a lot. But he went over, and it was Paul Stanley, and Paul gave him for 2 hours. They just shot the shit.
Stop it.
2 hours. I'm sitting there like tapping my foot.
Wait,
I don't care.
Wait.
Tower Records, Sunset Boulevard.
I was just saying, you're in a record. He stood there in a record store?
There in a record store with my friend for 2 hours. He asked about all the B-sides and all the non-songs that didn't make the recordings and everything else. It was a fanboy's dream come true. But Paul Stanley stood there and just totally chatted with him for over 2 hours. So those guys are good dudes, I think, down underneath the persona.
I think it's kind of amazing, and what some people don't know. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. I think that it's not that they're guys with egos, right? They have giant egos, as like rock stars do, and the egos get in the way. The characters, the persona. I think Paul Stanley is way more down to earth and genuine all the time, whereas Gene Simmons gets twisted up in his persona, and that can lead to mixed results and stuff.
But also if you're interrupting people at dinner with their family and stuff to get, I get it why they would be not so nice.
Yes. In any situation where you're interrupting someone when they're eating, I mean, you shouldn't. It's just bottom line. You just don't interrupt someone when they're eating, period. There are times.
There's a time and a place.
I was in a movie theater to see Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
Oh, yeah, Don't Die, yeah.
So I go to, once again, in Port Chester, where I told you I was at the Capitol, right?
Yep.
I go in there. I go I'm walking over. This is going to actually, I think this will blow your mind. Even someone like you who's been around everybody who's like really fucking cool, like nothing probably phases you. But I think maybe this will phase you. Or at least, I think you to understand the significance of this. Mm-hmm. I walk past this family that's sitting in a row closer to the front than the back. It's, kind of amphitheater seating. You got to go up the stairs like a movie, like a multiplex, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm walk past this family and I clock the guy in the hat and I go, that's fucking Ron Howard.
Oh, nice.
With his family. And I'm like, I mean, Ron Howard, dude, like when you think about like Beatles level fame for filmmakers, Ron Howard is like, I mean, and all his body of work, it's insane. And, it's not like I'm a diehard personal, like Ron Howard fan, but I'm a populist. I watch all kinds of movies in the same way that I think that maybe Spielberg is like Beatles, Beatles level. But I appreciate everything that Ron Howard has done. I had just seen his movie, Heart in the Sea. I had just watched, which he did in 2016, but I had just seen it just recently. And so I go up there and I'm like, I'm just not sure if it's him or not. And I'm trying to, I hit the Google, on dim light while the coming attractions are playing. Because I'm like, I have to know. There's no way I'm going to sit in this theater for this entire movie and not know that that's Ron Howard or not. Because I keep looking over. Obviously, he's got the hat. He takes the hat off for a second, totally bald. I'm like, that's fucking Ron Howard. But his family, if I can Google and find a picture of his family, I'll know for certain if it is or not. All this is building to something, I promise, or at least I'm building on the what you had just said about not disturbing somebody when they're out to dinner. So yeah. So I was like, so it was totally fucking, it was Ron Howard. It was absolutely Ron Howard. It was absolutely his family. Movie finishes. I wait until most of the credits have gone by because I see that they're sitting there for all the credits, which is totally what I expect them to do as him being a director, right? He has that kind of reverence for the credits. Understandable. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, do not approach them from behind because you will potentially freak them out, but it's totally appropriate to ask them what they thought of the movie. You just watched the movie with Ron Howard, so just
ask anybody.
Just ask him. But wait, go down the stairs. Don't block their don't make them think you're fucking crazy. So I made sure I was all the way at the bottom before I turned around and I put my hand up and said, hi. Didn't acknowledge who he was. I just said, what did you think of the movie? And obviously by me saying, what did you think of the movie? He knew that I knew who he was.
Yeah.
And it was not the reaction I was hoping for. He's like spectrum-y, socially awkward, whatever. He's like, I thought it was great, but I could tell that he's like, fuck, someone clocked me. God damn it. His wife was super nice. She ended up talking to me. She was the verbal one. And the rest of the family. And he talked a little bit, but not really. And I could tell. So I started to, as we were talking, I kept moving to let them know, hey, I'm leaving. I'm not here to trap you or hold you hostage and asking you questions.
Yeah.
But they knew, of course, he knows Gore Verbinski, the director, and he was there to support his friend. And I guess they live nearby in Greenwich, Connecticut. And that's why they were but just to see him, yeah, I've been to that theater so many times. The fact that he came there to see that, it was such a rare, fleeting sighting that just happened. I could not believe I watched a movie next to Ron Howard. It's crazy. That was crazy. So
I have a quick little story. I'm not a great storyteller, but this one that you might dig. So at the time I still have two young daughters. But they were younger. They were into this American Girl thing, and then in LA there's an American Girl cafe at the time, or I don't know if it's still there or not, but so we took them as a treat to American Girl cafe for birthday treat or something. Anyway, I turn around and look, and it's Paul Sorvino. And his whole family and the two little grandkids. And I'm like,
Mina's kids.
I guess probably. Mia Sorvino. Yeah, it might be her kids, but I didn't see her. It wasn't her there. She wasn't there. But anyway, I was going to send my kids over to get an autograph, and I'm like, you know what? It's it's American Girl, it's kid time. I'm not going to bog the guy. Like, I'm just going to leave him alone, you know? So fast forward to years later at Monsterpalooza, he's there signing. He's right before he died, like maybe a year before he died.
Wow.
I go up to him and I'm like, I ran into you at the American Girl Cafe with my daughters, and you had your grandkids, and I left you alone because I wanted you to have that time with your grandkids. And he was like, like, he was just like, I remember that. And he was like, I appreciate, he gave me a free signed photo, and he gave me one for Lee, because Lee's favorite movie of all time is Goodfellas.
Wow.
And so I told him I managed this guy, and, you know, the band Fear, and he didn't know this, but it was like, you know, so anyway, yeah, Paul Sorvino was like, it was like the right time, right place. And he was,
you hit the button.
My best friend for life. And then like 6 months later, he was dead. So it was like, I got to meet him and interact with him, and, you know, but it was, I knew it wasn't the right time at that cafe because he was with his grandkids. So I just held off.
To double back on Kiss for a second, I also wanted to say the thing, I got sidetracked with that story. What I also find remarkable about Paul Stanley is that he's missing an ear originally.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he like grew up with like a deformed. That's what I mean when I say like these guys.
That's what the long hair is for.
That's what the long hair is for, because he doesn't have an ear. Well, he had a surgical. He has it replaced now. He had like a surgeon, but I think he's deaf in that one side of his. So it's like the idea that you could make something, you could transform yourself from Stanley Eisen into Paul Stanley, and you know, be this guy that, you know, beds a lot of women, and, you know, confident and rock star and this and the other, from a guy who used to keep his ear covered because he didn't want people to make fun of him. It really is. It's quite remarkable. And the fact that he was able to sing and play music for as long as he did with that, considering that state. I have a lot of respect for the Kiss guys, even though they could be, you know, who they are. In that
one of my first jobs was working at a retail store down in Orange County at a place called Electric Chair. And Mark St. John was one of our regular
guitar player, right?
Yeah. And I had zero Kiss knowledge. I just knew him as this dude that would come in and buy stuff. And he would come in and he would always come to me because I would help. I would drop whatever I was doing and I'd go help him, you know, just pick through stuff or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But I just knew him as this crazy old rock dude who drove a silver Mercedes. You know, I knew he had money, but I didn't know he was in Kiss. I just knew him as this dude that came into the store, you know. But anyway, it's my Kiss interactions have been bountiful, I guess.
I got to tell you, man, I am absolutely not a diehard Kiss fan. In fact, I'm more interested in their, you know, career and history, not from a music. It doesn't come from a musical standpoint. Mm-hmm. It just comes from, you know, I think the story is remarkable, and like, it's definitely not about the music. There's probably 10 Kiss songs that I really, you know, like truly. Mm-hmm. But for me, I guess my affinity for Kiss really actually comes from Detroit Rock City. Yeah. Which to me is, I would put somewhere if I had to pick top 20 movies of all time, Detroit Rock City is going to be somewhere in that top 20, despite, and any love that I have for any of Kiss's music actually comes from that movie, which, you know, it's an Odyssey premise. It's like, it's literally it is a perfect movie. It is the sort of it's actually kind of the response to Dazed and Confused in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, and it's just really, really great. And it doesn't, I wish that like Arrow or somebody would just put out like a soup to nuts proper Detroit Rock City, you know, package. You know,
there was a New Line put out that DVD when DVD was the format, which was pretty thorough.
Had it on VHS, I have it on DVD, and I have it on Blu-ray. Yep.
Yeah, I just remember seeing that in the new release bins when it came out, and I was like, oh, you know, I'll check that out one day. But I still haven't watched that movie. But
my God, Robert, you have Robert. No, Robert. Before you say another word, you are going to literally cry when you watch that movie, even though you're not a huge Kiss fan, because you, who is I'm you're a child of the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Like you are going to weep when you watch it because you go, why did I not allow myself to watch this for 30 years?
Right.
You are literally going to be like, why was this movie not in my life? And you're going to be so happy. It is just, I'm a child of the 80s, I was born in the 80s. And so for me, that's not my time, but I can only imagine how special, in the same way that, in a weird kind of way, it came out a few years before I was 15, but the movie Kids, for me, I know it sounds kind of fucked up.
No, I mean, I get it. I understand.
Like that is like of my, when I think of that like, that's youth, that's my youth. And I feel like Detroit Rock City, in a completely different kind of package for somebody from the 70s, that's it, man. I mean, that really is it. The soundtrack, everything, you're going to love it. You are going to love it. You have to watch it.
I mean, I remember when those records were, huge in the charts, and kids were coming to school with the costumes on and the Ben Cooper masks and all that stuff too. So I remember. So I'll probably get a kick out of that movie. Yeah, I'll check it out. Is that streaming? It's
got to be streaming somewhere. And if it's
I'll find it.
I will tell you that it's worthy of a blind buy. It is so.
Okay.
It is so fucking good. And I'll tell you this, last night I had seen it. I saw it when it came out of the theater. We watched the director's cut of Nightmare Alley. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
Yeah.
Holy shit. In black and white. It was just, I wish that I had gone back, because I think it came back to theaters. They showed the black and white cut. It should have won every Oscar. It didn't win a single Oscar that year. Should have won every Oscar that it was nominated for. So fucking good. I'm checking right now to see if whatchamacallit is available. So I don't know. Have you seen Nightmare Alley?
Yeah.
Fucking just unreal. You
Yeah.
seen the original?
Yeah. Not the director's cut.
The Tyrone Power version.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. That's great. I'm a big fan. I also got on Criterion the Freak,
the Todd Browning double feature or triple feature.
Triple feature, and it's funny because they, right around that time, they played what The Unknown was played at my Alamo Draft House. So I went to go see it, silent film.
Yeah.
With what's his face starring in it? What the fuck? It wasn't Bela Lugosi. Who plays the That's going to bother me. What's the name of the star? Oh, maybe it's Lon Chaney. Lon Chaney, The Unknown. The Unknown, Lon Chaney. Yeah, 1927. Yeah, starring Lon Chaney. He plays a guy who pretends to be armless and throws knives, but he secretly does have his arms. It's great. It deserves a remake in some way, shape, or form. It is not streaming anywhere, Detroit Rock City. Dude, just go see it. The fucking poster rules too, man.
YouTube usually has movies that are not streaming somewhere.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. Tubi has The Unknown, though, which is great. It's very short. It's only, 62 minutes. That's what's nice about, I like to go see those old movies in the theater because it's just easier to watch them than in my house. It's far harder for me to sit down and really immerse myself in those worlds and like give them the respect they deserve. I went to see Old Dark House from 1932. Was it 1932? No, it was 1936 with James Whale, Old Dark House at the Alamo, and I was just fucking blown away by it. I went in blind, didn't know anything about it. I was like, this is Rocky Horror. This is literally the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like every character is represented. There's every archetype.
Did you see that Alamo bought the Cinerama Dome in LA?
I did not see that, but I'm very angry with the Alamo as of recent because
you have to put your order on your phone.
Dude, I used to collect the menus. I have a stack. No, you don't understand. I was going to do a show on this. Yeah. I have a stack of menus going back to 2015 every time they released a movie themed menu and I was there, I would steal at least 3 of them.
Oh, how funny.
And I just, because I love that they would name the food after the movie. And I have like a whole bunch of them. And now that they've done that, it's gone. That's the end of the era. It's an end of an era.
Yeah.
Become this fucking super rare thing now. Or I don't know. Maybe it's not that great. To me, it's like the world.
I go to the one in LA. I've been to the ones in Phoenix and different cities. But I don't know. It's unfortunate. It seems like they've kind of gone astray a little bit. But
Very
I
much.
still enjoy going, and the food is good. It's I go in LA when I'm traveling. I'll sneak away to Alamo for a movie and dinner. But that whole company has been changing for the last couple of years.
A lot.
So
what have you seen? Have you seen anything good recently? Like what have you seen that's really just knocked your socks off?
Okay, so I'm on the fence about Obsession. Have you seen Obsession?
I have seen Obsession and I fucking loved it.
But did you watch it? Did you watch it at home or did you watch it in the theater?
I saw it. I didn't see it the opening weekend. I saw it the very next weekend it came out.
Okay, so in the theater, things aren't lit as much, so it adds to the whole being spooked by things a lot more. But when you watch it,
sure,
it's the lighting is better on your TV versus the screen, and so it kind of ruins some of the surprise of it or the vagueness of what's going on. That kind of shakes you.
Okay.
So, I mean, I still think it's well done. And for the budget it was made on is amazing. And what it turned in profit, I mean, that's like massive.
Unbelievable.
I hope that guy gets, a properly funded. This next one, I'm sure will be properly funded.
Well, he's already filmed. He already filmed this next one. And now he's doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But he has like people like Spielberg and Zach Kreger, everybody's reaching out to him because he's made one of the most profitable films of all time.
It makes sense that they would reach out to him. But, again, when you have, so we can have this discussion about not having any resources and being, Robert Rodriguez or Robert, somebody with no money making stuff on a limited budget kind of adds sometimes to the coolness or the
creative process.
But throw a bunch of money at something or even music, like a lot of bands' first records are their best records because they've been suffering. They don't have any money, and then they get signed and they make a record and it's great. And then the next record is like, meh. I mean, The Damned, good example of that. Guns N' Roses. I mean, there's a lot of
music for pleasure. You feel that way about that?
Well, because the first is the first record. The first record is just on fire. Every song.
First record.
Music for Pleasure is great too, but it's not as great, I think, as the first one or the third one.
I agree. Machine Gun Etiquette's great, but what the best record of all is?
The one Jack and the Beanstalk.
For The Damned?
Yes.
It's
the last one with Rat Scabies. It's called I Need a Life and all that stuff is on that.
Is that
record.
So in the 90s?
It's 91 or 90, 92. It's
shit.
Badass. It's the last record with Rat. It's called I'm All Right, Jack and the Beanstalk. Of the silliest name ever, but the music is, it's just as good as the first.
I've never listened to it.
It's just as good as the first album. It's so good.
I did listen to. So what I was going to say was Strawberries is their greatest record. That's the greatest.
I even
record.
like Anything. Like Anything is a great album.
Anything is good. Anything is good. But Strawberries is, and I'll tell you, when they came back, when they brought What's His Face back into the fold, and I saw them. So I've seen them twice now with Rat. They played with the Dictators actually right before one of Ross the Boss's final shows with the Dictators opening for The Damned a few years back, and they played so much from Strawberries, and I was stoked, man. I was just like, heard Stranger in the Town and Generals. I was just like, fuck yes, dude. That was just special.
They're also an example of a band that morphs with different members over time, and it kind of keeps everything kind of fresh. I hate to say it, but it's kind of a fact. You get new people in and new ideas. It reinvigorates things a lot of the time.
I agree.
But I wish they would have done another album with Brian before he passed. they did that live thing, but that doesn't really count.
They reunited. They didn't reunite. They reunited with them.
I knew that was coming, but I didn't know how sick Brian was until they told me ahead of time that he was not well. And so anyway,
I gotta tell you, that Night of 1,000 Vampires concert, I watched that in its entirety, like eyes glued to the screen. That was masterful. And it's funny, like the age of the concert film, as you're aware in your efforts, it's not what it used to be. And that was just such a friggin' like home run, that damn Night of 1,000 Vampires, just unreal.
Is he in Nosferatu costume the whole show?
No, he just like slips out. He slips out of the back. And here's what I learned about that show. I learned that none of the other guys in the band, the only person who knew everything that was going to happen during that performance was Dave, and he had planned it, and nobody knew anything, and they just rolled with the punches. And then Dave comes out, they make him up as a vampire, and he comes back out and does the rest of the show. I was floored, dude. In fact, when Halloween comes back around, next time when I'm at work or something doing stuff, I'm going to absolutely just throw that on in the background just to watch it, just to feel the vibe of it. It's so good. Fucking excellent.
That I'm All Right, Jack and the Beanstalk record, you got to listen to it, because it's I don't know if it's streaming or not. It might be.
I'm checking right now to see if it's on Spotify.
It's fantastic, and it's post Roman Jug, and I think it's Glenn Matlock on bass from the Sex Pistols.
Really?
Or at least on a song or two. And it's last record with Rat, and it was supposed to be a Japanese only release, and it was a source of friction between Scabies and Vanian that broke the band up. I did not realize that was the final straw. It's not coming up here. Hold on, let me try this. Okay. I'll send you the link to that too. But that record,
I watched the doc, and I saw some of that. But yeah, so that's a good record, though.
It's a fantastic record, for sure.
So tell me a little bit about you. So you have actually ventured into the concert film arena. Tell me about what that process was like for you, and just doing it and yada yada yada.
So Riot Fest 2022, we had our own camera crew, and we had Riot Fest's camera crew that film from the outside. And so we purchased the camera feeds from Riot Fest.
Great move.
It was great. Yeah. And they I think we were the only ones that have ever asked about it, because they were kind of like, well, what do you want? Like, it's like, oh yeah, I want the footage and the audio and stuff. And they were like, okay, it's this much money. And we were like, okay, let's do it. So we took it and went through everything. And I was filming on the side of the stage with my iPhone. And so we kind of married all the footage and the audio and everything, and took out the excess pauses and stuff, and wound up with our little thing here, which just came out
rad, dude,
2 weeks ago.
Congrats to you. That's awesome.
Dude, I've had so much fun. I can see why an editor's job is probably the most important in all of filmmaking. A director gives you advice. I know you're a director too, but like editing, I think, is crucial. Like,
but they're connected. They're connected, because sometimes the director is the editor. I'm the director and the editor.
Well, Romero was his own editor too. Like,
exactly.
And if you watch his films, you can see Romero is like cut, like every 1 to 2 seconds, he's cutting and moving on. Like, he wants the story to progress, and that, I think it's an art form. What you guys do is an art form for sure.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that sometimes, even if you're especially in that regard, I would say that the editor, in a way, or if the editor is working, if the director is his own editor, is one thing, but sometimes if you're just taking, like, if you're taking all those feeds and you're the one that's making the editorial decisions, that you are the director, you are directing the picture in that way, in that sort of way. And that makes you, being an editor makes you a director in that kind of way, at least as it relates to doing live footage. And doing live concert stuff is so fucking different than, say, doing like narrative or even documentary. It's about rhythm and feel and cutting to lyrics. Like, listening to the phrasing of a lyric and then knowing to cut to this angle because they said this phrase and now you want to, change it up and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Plus being a musician on top of it would also help you.
Yes.
Because if there's like a drum solo or drum fill, you would know to cut to the drummer for the snare fill on this and go to the bass solo on the, for Metallica or whatever.
Sure.
Like, anyway, I think that also helps with the natural rhythm of things too. If you're a musician and it should kind of go at this pace at this time kind of thing.
But you don't have to be a musician to do. I mean, I'm not a musician. And you know what that is? What you're describing? That's common sense. It's common sense. And if you competently understand that music is about rhythm and lyrical phrasing and like feel, and if a fast song might deserve a more kinetic pacing, whereas a slow song, maybe you're going to go more into crossfades because you're just going with the flow of what it is, or continuity. Somebody jumps up and does a jump kick, and that's the perfect time to match cut at the other angle, on the kick. It's common sense, but common sense is not always common to everybody.
Well, and the other thing too with concert films is that you also have, if you look at Song Remains the Same or AC/DC Live at Wembley or any of those big concert films, the band are kind of all doing their own thing. And you kind of, when you're filming, you don't know what to expect. And, something could be going on over here, but nothing's going on over here, so you kind of have to be in a good place or know what's going on the whole stage to get a good, interesting feel for what your edits are going to be, So you're basically multitasking anyway, whether you're an editor or an editor director or just a cameraman even. That was another thing too, was just the camera. I had to edit out the camera guys talking shit about certain things and certain people.
You can hear it over the feed.
I can hear them in the feed like, oh my God, I can't believe so-and-so is still doing this, like kind of thing. It's like, oh man, I don't want to hear that, but anyway, it's interesting. It's an interesting process. And this is the first time I've ever done anything like,
what did you edit videos
on? Actually a guy named Sean Hart, who is a buddy of mine. He's been working with me for a long time.
Yeah.
He edits on Final Cut, and I edit on my phone, which is crazy. Like
whoa. You edited this on your phone?
No. I edit clips on my phone when I do commercials and stuff,
Yeah.
But the footage that I took on my phone, we used in the final product, and it actually came out. I was worried it would quality jump, from 4K to whatever, but it actually looked pretty darn good. And
you know what, man? I got to tell you. So I've been making a feature-length film for the last 2 years called My Shadow, named after the Jay Recharge song.
Yep.
And it's about a Frankenstein monster. It's a whole thing. But what's interesting about this film, this is my third narrative feature, and there were moments where I was in a place where there was an opportunity to grab steal shots that, I didn't have my Blackmagic Cinema 4K camera that I normally shoot with.
Yeah.
I'm not a cinematographer at all. I'm a cinematographer by necessity, not by trade. More of a videographer, which is a very different from being a cinematographer, right?
Yep.
Videographer captures like life and cinema verite, like fly on the wall, whereas videographer is painting with light and doing
framing the shot so that goes down perfectly.
But like
also
John Waters, right. And so like John Waters or George Murray and those other guys, you just end up being your own cameraman just because, it's the cheapest thing to do. But what was interesting is, so I'm in these locations. I was in the Denver Aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
I was just in all these different places. I was in Florida, and there was this beautiful shot of a palm tree. And I was like, all I had was my phone, my Galaxy phone. And so I I modified it to shoot 8K, and I was like, I know that I'm gonna drag all this footage. Like, is it gonna match? I'm gonna drag all this footage into Adobe, and then what I do is I have something called Film Convert Pro Nitrate, which emulates film grain in the most beautiful, wonderful way. You can make anything look like it was shot on Tri-X 400, which is, grainy, black and white, beautiful. The ASA is 400. And so I was like, fuck it. Like, I would rather, even if the shot, if I glom it with all this, like, this footage on top, and then, and shoot it in 8K, hopefully it will be seamless enough. And let me tell you what, it absolutely is possible. It absolutely works. So I have all these interesting shots where all I had was my phone. And I was like, that would be really good in my movie. And I didn't let the quality of the camera stop me from getting a shot that has only improved the movie and given it more cinematic, production value than it would if I were to abide by the rules of, like, oh, I should lug this very, clunky camera around with me just in case I might see something interesting. I got all these shots of animals and just things that I was like, oh my God, I could put that right there. I could put that right there. I could put that right there. And there's a scene where the end, takes place under the water. And so when I was at the aquarium, I was like, how can I could get all these fish. There's a jellyfish and an octopus. And so I pressed the camera right up to the glass. I hit it in 8K. I shot as much as I could, like these beautiful shots. Then I went to the local beach. I shot all that stuff on land. And then I got some shots of the water. And then you transition to these shots shot right on the plate glass, so you can't see any glare or reflection. And it's just underwater. You're just underwater, and putting that filter over everything, the black and white celluloid grain, it totally works, dude. All of which say that you can absolutely incorporate different types of footage depending on the situation. Does not for everything, but it does. It's better to get a really cool looking shot that's going to improve the picture than to not have one at all. Yeah,
I agree with that 100%. And like I said, I after watching it, it fit and everything worked, but it was just a concern of mine. Is this going to work? But yeah, it worked just fine, and I'm pretty happy with the outcome.
Cool, man.
We've got another couple of shows that we filmed and stuff, but I think this is a good start, and we'll see how it goes. But first foray into that whole field. And you sent me a video of a show that you shot a couple of weeks ago, and that was fantastic. I think you did great. You did a great job on it, man.
You're too kind. That was feeling around. That was, what was funny was that I filmed every single show of that tour. So I shot about 50 shows.
Okay.
And that was at the tail end of shooting. And, it was just, that was what was interesting about getting a feel for that, because before I ever shot a narrative feature film, I just done a lot of live music shooting like that. And it's just all about, like, you've been to a million different clubs. You go to different clubs. What are the walls made out of? What's the vibration? Because the bass will kill any satellite cam. I had all those cameras on clamps, and they vibrate. They do vibrate. And, you put a camera on a clamp on a wall, it's going to shake. And so you're at the mercy. What is the material made of? Blah, blah, blah. You got to check all that stuff at sound check, because the band is going to play, and you want to. It's an art form. It's a process,
It definitely is. And my background was more in photography. Like I'm always the one in the pit shooting up the band, and I've shot lots of bands, and not as many as other people like that I'm friends with, but I've shot. I understand how it works and what my limitations are, and so anyway, it's all just making the band look good. Is sometimes it's tough and sometimes it's not. If they're on fire and doing great, you're just capturing what's going on, like a videographer, I guess, in some cases, but in other cases you are kind of making sure that the shot looks good, and the angle looks good and all that kind of stuff. So,
and you want to know something? Sometimes it's very sticky. And you know what else is sticky? Do you know what else is sticky?
RIOT stickers.
RIOT stickers is fucking sticky. That's right. Did you know that RIOT stickers is the sponsor of the Frumess channel? That's right. We have a very special promotion. You're not going to find a better promotion than this. This is like, seriously, this is a sick promotion. You can get 1,000 stickers for $79. And Robert, who knows a thing or two about stickers, will probably attest that that's a pretty good deal. As someone who deals with manufacturing.
That's like the best deal I've heard of in a long, especially in this economy. Yeah. That's a good deal, man.
Free shipping and handling. $79, 1,000 stickers are 3 inches by 3 inches normally, printed on vinyl, which makes them weatherproof. They got a UV coating which protects from the sun.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong. Send Sharpie RIOT, CEO Sharpie RIOT, an email. He will set you up. They do banners. Look at this banner they did for me right here. They do t-shirts, buttons. This hat was printed by Sharpie long before he was the spot. Long before I was live streaming on YouTube, I came to Sharpie and he set me up. He printed this hat. In fact, I'll tell you this much. I sent him a way more complicated design. He said, hey, this is going to look better. This is the type of service you get from RIOT stickers. He's like, this is going to look better if you simplify it. Can I help you simplify this a little bit? And I said, sure, Sharpie, help simplify this for me. He did it. I signed off on the design. He printed it up for me. I was very, very, very satisfied. RIOTstickers.com. RIOT Stickers, we are the bomb. We'll be right back with more Robert and Atom Age after a word from our sponsor.
We make stickers, banners, and buttons too, posters and promo cards. There's nothing we can't print for you. From stage backdrops to bass drum heads, we can print on shirts. We can print on hats. We can print on pants. Cheap prices and high quality. Quick turnaround times and free shipping. We also offer free artwork support, great customer service, and so much more. RIOTstickers.com. RIOT Stickers, we are the bomb. RIOTstickers.com. RIOT Stickers, we are the bomb. RIOTstickers.com. RIOT Stickers, we are the bomb. RIOTstickers.com. RIOT Stickers, we are the bomb.
And that is a promise right there. We're back. We got Robert here. We were talking about the ups and downs, ins and outs of live videography, putting the show out on DVD. Let me ask you this question. What was the most challenging aspect of that process for you, if you had to guess? Or was it just effortless?
Well, again, I've made videos and done little promo clips and commercials and stuff. The most challenging was just getting the footage from RIOT Fest, like the clearances, negotiating the deal to buy the stuff was the hardest part, because some people just don't respond and you have to be thorough or be on them, and I hate harassing people for stuff. In a perfect world, you'd ask them for one thing one time and they'll deliver, but it doesn't always work that way. And I understand. I mean, a business owner, I got people tugging at me for different things all the time. So you get spread thin and it happens, but I was just relentless. I'm just like, man, I got to have this, before you pack your shit up and go away. I need to have everything.
Now, what's interesting is, and here's what's funny, folks, and this is how Robert can probably explain the law about how ownership of footage works. Because even though Robert, and in case you didn't realize, Robert is the manager of Leaving and band Fear, right? And so even though Robert is connected, whatever, in whatever capacity associated with Leaving, in the sense of the rights to publicity, the rights of the songs, and all that stuff that they handle, that he handles and manages in whatever various capacities, that he still needs to go to RIOT Fest, because RIOT Fest shot that footage, and therefore RIOT Fest owns what do they own, Robert?
Well, they own the actual footage. We own the audio. We own the audio because it's our songs. We perform them.
Right.
And we own
they own the audio, but you own the songs and the copyright of they own the recording of the audio
recordings of those songs, the video recordings and the audio recordings. And if on the back of the Blu-ray, I credited everybody that, all the camera operators that were talking shit stuff, they all get credited on this release. When you film something, you don't own it. You own the actual footage, but not the rights to use the music or sync licenses or rights to publicity. All that stuff needs to be cleared. So, I've helped Lee reclaim his masters from Warner Brothers and different places. And it's a long, lengthy process, making sure everything gets signed off on is, so you don't get lawsuits. Lawsuits are expensive.
Yes. And you also have to have the money to do the law suing. If you don't have the money,
that's the thing. Absolutely. Or get a law degree, or be versed in it.
Because people will threaten to sue you. People sometimes will threaten to sue you, but they don't have the money to sue you. And that's a whole other mental warfare. So it's all very complicated. But the point being, the bottom line here is that if you shot that footage, then you own the copyright of that footage, and therefore somebody else, even if they have the songs or the whatever, the licenses to use whatever, the ability, the privileges to use that stuff, they still need to come to you to get your stuff. And that's what a lot of people don't realize about how rights and laws work and stuff.
It's the same with t-shirts. Like, I got to go clear all these rights to these t-shirts that I print and sell.
Yeah, I bet, man.
So it's a lengthy process, and you got to know contractual law deal with all these people and stuff. And so, you get versed in it as you go. But there's a guy who's got a Instagram, and he always says, I forgot his handle, but he's always talking about, these First Amendment auditors and stuff that are going around filming them starting fights with cops and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen them.
The rule is if you're in public, you can be filmed. You can be filmed.
Yeah,
because you're in a place that you're going to be seen. But if you're at home in your own domicile and so on and so forth, you can't be filmed without permission. That's where. And then also, if you're selling stuff for a profit, like if I took a photo and put it on a mug and sold thousands of it without your permission, using your likeness, that's a breach of your rights.
Rights to publicity is what it's known as. And that is a very hard thing. But there are certain areas where fair use may fall into play, like if it's a documentary. But if it's, merchandise, you're shit out of luck. Like, you can't.
Merchandise is one thing, but documentary fair use is it's an interesting thing, because you'd really have to prove that it's fair use, not commercial use, so on and so forth.
100%. And so it all gets mired. It all gets mired in all sorts of. It just can be a very tangled, crazy mess. And but you were mentioning about when you're talking about clearances for t-shirts. Have you heard about? I don't know if you saw. I did a video on this with Linnea Quigley. I had Linnea and Beverly from Return of the Living Dead on my show.
Okay.
They're locked in a awful lawsuit right now with this guy, Steve Walsh.
I know Steve.
And it's like a crazy situation because he claims to have the rights to, and again, I just want to say I am paraphrasing here from what was told to me. Do not take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm trying to paraphrase this off the top of my head. Steve claims some kind of ownership or copyright with Return of the Living Dead. Linnea and Beverly and the rest of the cast claim that he does not. And in addition to not having that trademark, that he has been basically printing without their permission using their likeness to print up all this stuff under the guise of they signed a release with the movie and that therefore it's all fair game as long as it's done within their characters' likenesses of the movie. It seems incredibly like mired in gray, like so much gray. Like I don't know what to make of this situation. It's crazy.
What it's all going to boil down to is what did they sign with MGM when they signed their contract to get paid?
Right.
Did it include exploitation rights for commercial merchandise? And to be honest, when you're an actor and you get paid, you'll get paid X amount without those rights, and you'll get paid more with the rights. So chances are they signed something that will allow the owners.
They don't remember even signing.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to, but again, I could be wrong,
right.
But I also know John Russo, and, that stuff was all MGM. And MGM is famous for having all their shit together. Look at the Pink Panther and all those films. Like, I mean, that they've been making films for years and years and years. So,
you mean that they had all their ducks in a row, and that there's no way that they didn't get that cleared?
No
before?
Way. I mean, I hope. Listen, I like all those people, Troutman and everybody.
Yeah.
I've met them all at shows. They're very nice people.
Yeah.
And I hope they can work something out. I know Walsh, and Walsh is a nice guy. I've worked with him in the past.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody. I hope that they can come to some kind of mutually beneficial agreement where they don't have to spend a bunch of money on lawyers, because in a situation like that, the lawyers make all the money and
the lawyers end up winning.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, what they claim to me, this is something I can speak on. What they claim to me is that something like along the lines that he doesn't have the actual ability to print up any of the stuff that he's printing up. That there is that he doesn't have, and they post documents to Facebook all the time. So it really has me scratching my head. I'm going like, so somebody is not in the right here, or somebody is like off. Who is it? Because both sides seem to be so like they're coming from such places of conviction that it's hard to know like where anything falls. That's what.
Okay. I don't know what's reality because I don't have the paperwork, and I don't know.
Sure.
I haven't done my homework on this case, but I know Steve, and I know.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the rights of these actors, and
his lawyer's a brother, I think. I mean, his brother is a lawyer, and his brother did a lot of the filing or something. I don't know.
Okay. So from what I understand, and I've talked to John Russo about this too, and I think Steve filed a trademark for the film, but there was no trademark in place. So I don't know if you know the difference between trademark and copyright, but they're definitely different things. And
in trademark, sorry, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
Well, I was going to say, I think that Steve owns the trademark for that film. I don't know if he owns the copyrights or not. That might be MGM. But if he's using material, I mean, again, he might have an arrangement with MGM or Amazon. It's right. Amazon, basically. Amazon Studios bought MGM, and so anyway, long story short, it's going to take a lot of discovery to find all these documents that they're talking about. I don't know who. I don't know. I don't work with Steve currently, but in the past, I've had the ability to use all the stuff from the film that I wanted to use. I just have to run it by him for approval. So again, I hope they can just work it out, because it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars on both sides. And again, nobody wins but the lawyers. But if Steve's brother's a lawyer, maybe he'll do better, or he'll last longer, because they'll run out of money eventually answering stuff. And, it just sucks that they can't just work something out. If I was an IP owner, I would just pay them a royalty on it. That's kind of how it would work.
They formed their own company where they're doing their own. It's called Return of Living Dead Originals and LLC. Okay. So they're printing up stuff themselves. What my understanding too is that you trademark. You can trademark something. This is what happens with bands too all the time, where You have somebody who is like, a great example is like John Joseph was going out there as Cro-Mags.
I heard about this. Yeah.
Right. He's going out there as Cro-Mags for years and years and years, and had some kind of, claim because he had been using the marks, whereas Harley, who founded the band with Paris, and as you said, he had the copyright or whatever, but just sort of didn't defend it in any kind of way. And that allows a court, and that it didn't work out for John in this case, but that somebody who can prove, hey, I've been using this thing for this, and then I make my livelihood this way, that they can actually gain some kind of ground and have some kind of stake.
Kind of. It depends who's using it more, and if there's stuff in writing.
So many factors.
There's a lot of factors. I just filed the DOA trademark for Joe Keithley. Joe Shithead.
Really?
Yeah, he's never had one. And all these people,
no way,
Redbubble and all these companies are knocking him off, like just stealing from him, and he can't do anything about it without a registered trademark. He's got copyrights for all his stuff, but he didn't have a trademark in place.
Dude, that's crazy.
T-shirts. So we filed that earlier this year. Yeah, I mean, he just wasn't protected at all.
Keith Morris had some issues as well. I remember he posting about Circle Jerks stuff that was just like, it was just out of control, and he was just like, hey, if you're, these certain Circle Jerk shirts are not,
Yeah, I was Keith's merchandiser for a while too.
So
and Lisa Fancher, who owns Frontier Records, we had to stop her from making Circle Jerks t-shirts. She's like, these aren't Circle Jerks t-shirts, they're just t-shirts promoting the records. And it's like, no, you're making Circle Jerks t-shirts, you need to stop. So anyway, I hope Keith's manager is a guy named Joe Sofio, who's a good guy too, and he's an attorney. He is like an attorney for NFL dudes and stuff. So hopefully they got all that stuff under control. I think they do, but that was a while ago. And Keith's a good guy. I really like Keith a lot. I think he
seems like a great guy. He gave to these guys. They were out to eat, and this absolutely. I did a whole reaction to this video somewhere on my channel. He basically broke down, for the most part. He broke down like what had happened, like the end result of all of them with battling it out with Ginn, and it was fascinating to hear his perspective on everything as he's like munching on salad. He's sitting there like eating salad and like just explaining because nobody like knows. And then he just like, oh shit. You are.
Time out.
No, it's just interesting. It's just all this stuff is just crazy, dude. It's so crazy. I think that most people don't understand just how complicated all this stuff gets behind closed doors, right? Like, it just nuts.
I've worked with pretty much all those guys, and I mean, it's craziness. What they did with Flag versus Black Flag and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But those guys, I mean, honestly, they're all good people. I just hope that they could come to a better solution where we know what's what and who's who, and instead of having two different incarnations. But anyway, I think that they're all reasonable people, and hopefully they can work it all out. But
they haven't done Flag in a long time. I think Flag
it's been a couple years, I think.
Wow. Yeah.
But my favorite was seeing Keith sing with Jerry and Doyle and Robo playing Black Flag at the Palace in Hollywood.
Wow.
One of the anniversary shows that the Misfits did. It was
in the 2000s, maybe, I want to say
2001 or 2002, whenever that first anniversary thing was. Keith came out and sang, and it was just awesome to see the Earth AD lineup of the Misfits with Keith Morris singing. It was so fantastic,
The circle fits.
Yeah, circle fits. Yeah,
that's crazy, right? Because Robo was there, Doyle's there. Yeah, the Miss Jerks and the circle fits. I love that. I love that. That's nuts.
Just goes to show. I mean, it was like I don't know. These guys are all great. Everybody's got great stuff going on, and I would hope that they could work all that stuff out. And Gin, I mean, I worked for Gin for years, and I see him. And he's nice. I mean, he came up to me at what's that big the festival in LA a couple years ago in Pomona, where they had all the bands, like 50 punk bands all in one day.
Oh, the where it was fucking Misfits, Iggy Pop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gin came up to me at that show, and he's like,
no
hey,
values.
man,
No values.
No values. Yeah. And Gin was great. I mean, and he was the nicest guy. And, you know, but again,
dude, you were there backstage for that.
Yeah.
Was that crazy? That backstage like world must have been insane.
It was
all those bands.
A lot of coordination and a lot of logistics. I'll say that.
Yeah, really.
It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean,
were there any snafus? Like, did all the band were there any like holdups like from changeovers and stuff? Like, did it all just go down without a hitch?
There were so many bands, and they had it all dialed in. There was like 6 stages or 5 stages.
It's crazy.
So it was all, you know, very well coordinated, and everybody that works for Golden Voice did a great job. But yeah,
you'll never see a lineup like that again.
Well, it'd be nice to see that on the East Coast or somewhere else. I would appreciate it. You know, that would be cool.
Yes. Yes. I was so like, I literally thought for about 2 seconds, how can I fly over there for that show? I was just like, it's impossible. It's just not possible to do. And so I didn't end up going, but I was just like, fuck, that is what a lineup, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, I took my older daughter to that show, and she was just in heaven. She's going from stage to stage, just this big smile on her face. You know, it was great.
By the way, I had, I guess maybe you must have crossed paths with Tank, Jim.
John.
Yeah, Jonathan Grimm.
Mm-hmm.
So he was telling me about the chaos of the first Fiend Fest from 2003.
I was there.
Oh, you were there. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You were there. Were you there with the Damned?
Yeah. Well, I was there. I went to Orange County.
Okay.
And then I was still the merch guy at that point, I think. No, I wasn't. Never mind. That was after. But I went to go just say hello and go. It would look like a good show. And I love seeing the Damned no matter what. So I went to go see them. And yeah, it was interesting. Like, you know.
Yeah, he told me some story. He basically said, this is what he said. I'm not talking out of school here because he said this live on the show.
Yeah.
He just said that he was the tour manager. He was the head tour manager.
Yeah.
And he said that it was trial by fire. And he said that it was absolute chaos, and that there were times where certain promoters who turned out to be like young kids could not pay.
Yep.
And so that, the Misfits had to cough up gas money on several occasions, and that like the Damned were not pleased. And then, at the very end, that Captain Sensible, when he like mooned everybody on stage while standing next to Jerry Only. And then Patricia Morrison turned to Tank, to John, and said, "This is what happens when you don't pay us," or something like that, and walked away.
Yep, I've heard that. To be honest, they were reticent to do the newer Misfits stuff because of their experience with the earlier Misfits stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think,
but that went off better, right?
Yeah, the recent stuff was better. Yeah, but again, like back then, it wasn't the same as it is now. The everything's changed about the whole thing now, but back then it was definitely trial and error on a lot of people's parts, and they tried.
Yeah. Tank did the best he could. Right?
The good intent was definitely there, and Tank.
Yeah,
I don't know how long you've known Tank, but he's a nice guy until he's not, and then look out. But he's great. I mean, I've never had any issues with him.
I've never seen the wrong side of Tank's temper. I know that he has one from his stories that he's told me, but I've known Tank for 16 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So him and I actually go back some years. I mean, we don't go way back, but we go back, over a decade and a half. Known him a long time.
If I'm not mistaken, he owns one of the illustrious 5 acetates of Teenagers from Mars.
Yeah. He tells that story. It's a great story.
Yeah.
He got it signed by the whole band, and he talked about how Danzig, another, I don't know if you ever knew Elizabeth. She passed away recently. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're familiar. Yep. Yeah. Who I also met many, many years ago. Mm-hmm. But that she had warned him and said, don't bring this to Glenn, because he's going to break it over his knee if he sees it. And of course, Tank is, the size of Tank.
Pretty big guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Danzig just was like, oh, where did you get this?
Yeah.
Signed it for him.
Yeah.
Which is just, great.
So, he was with the band for a long time.
Yeah. We still have a whole nother episode to do. Starting in 2005, he's gonna tell me about the new stage show that Jerry said, okay, I want you to build me a new stage show. And so when Marky left the band, that's when he built this like elaborate stage show, which I saw back in, I think I saw it at the House of Blues in 2007 in Chicago. When they came around, Jerry was living in Chicago at the time. In fact,
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I never saw him, but there was always people be like, yeah, Jerry Only was just here. And I just thought it was so strange, because I lived in Chicago at that time. I was going to school out there, and Portillo's, dude, fucking chocolate cake shake, man. I spent
Malnati's in Portillo's,
bro. I spent so much time at Portillo's, and we'd always walk by the Rock and Roll McDonald's, which is right there. Mm-hmm. Anybody who doesn't know what the Rock and Roll McDonald's is, the McDonald's that has inspired the Wesley Willis song. If you don't know who Wesley Willis is, I feel really bad for you.
His keyboard was in the Punk Rock Museum. Weslly Willis.
Is it really?
You can go in and play it in the musician or the musical.
The music room, yeah. I've never been out to Vegas, and that is like my pilgrimage is to go to. I very much want to go to the Punk Rock Museum. I would love that so much. Could you imagine Danzig doing a tour at the Punk Rock Museum?
You
wouldn't get any good
telling the stories, and
really,
dude, Glenn's got some great stories, man.
I'm sure he does.
I think it would just have to be your right time, right place.
Jerry would do a good job.
Jerry would do great. Yeah. Jerry would probably sell out a whole weekend there.
Yeah. Not Doyle, though. Doyle would just be like,
I think Doyle was just there.
Was he real? No way.
I think he was. I don't know for sure, but I haven't talked to Doyle in a while. But I know in that museum, there's a lot of great pieces, and there's a lot of really cool artifacts on display, and it's cool that somebody pooled their resources and did that museum for sure.
So Glenn's making a new movie.
I heard about that.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I know what he needs to make is what's the black shirt character from the last movie?
Oh,
with the cowboy hat.
Yeah, Death Rider.
The black. What's his character in Death Rider?
His name's Death Rider.
No, not the main dude. Glenn's character.
Oh my God.
Bad Bathory. He needs to do a Bad Bathory movie, because that character was the best character in the whole movie.
I actually, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I was one of the select few who went to go to a almost midnight screening. It was probably like a 10:30 screening at New Rock, just like at the local cinema. They had one showing. I was like, fuck yeah, there's no way I'm going to miss this. I went to go see that movie, and everybody's performance was, cheesy and campy or whatever. Glenn Danzig legitimately had the best performance in that whole movie. I say that we're always having good fun about the things and the exploits of Glenn Danzig. But let me tell you something. That dude actually laid down a legitimate fucking performance in his own fucking movie. I was blown the fuck away. I could not believe it.
I would watch a whole Bad Bathory movie if he did one.
I would too.
He was that good.
Yes, I absolutely would. It was so much, and you could tell he's having so much fun in that role. He's having just a blast doing it. And he, you know, it's funny because I was like, how is this gonna work with him acting in his own movie? Like, does he even know how? And you want to know something? Of all the actors he's directing, he actually directed himself.
Yeah.
Perfectly. He had a vision. He did it.
It was the best part of that movie was Bad Bathory. 100%.
I would agree. I would agree, dude. I would absolutely like to see that. And, you know, I don't know if he can, the capacity of doing, you know, directing and starring, not being a supporting character, but starring. I don't know if that is too much for Glenn's plate, but I welcome it.
If they took Bad Bathory from back then, an old vampire, and threw him into today's society and watch him just tear shit out of everybody, would be fantastic.
Yes.
That would be so good.
That's what I want.
Going into bars and, you know, destroying the bars and the people drinking the blood. And, you know, I think that would be a whole lot of fun.
Actually, I want Glenn to call up Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And say, Robert, he would never do this, of course, but I'd be like, hey, Robert, I want you to direct me as a vampire. Like that exact plot that you just said, but Robert Rodriguez directing it and just let Glenn be the actor. It would fucking work, dude. They
had a budget of $150,000. Like just keep it cheap.
Yeah.
Like, but you can do everything AI or whatever, but it would be so good if Robert Rodriguez did that and on a budget, you know, it would be great. Or throw Bad Bathory into the Gecko Brothers, beats the Gecko Brothers, like, or, you know, I don't know, a lot of fun stuff could be done.
I think a lot of fun stuff, or, you know, just in the way that the Misfits were in the ICP movie, you could just,
you know, I've never seen that.
I've never seen it either. It's just for a scene.
That's cool. I mean, more power to them. Did you see they released Bruiser on 4K?
No, but I always loved Bruiser, and so I'm very much looking forward to revisiting it at some point.
That's Type, one of those Blu-ray companies in the UK issued it recently in the last year.
Really?
Yeah, and it looks pretty good. Like the old DVD looked like garbage, you know, but the new restoration, it's a new
I gotta look for that. Stuff. Peter Stormare is great in that movie. It's a great fucking movie, dude.
Yeah.
And I mean, what a great
underrated
idea. But just to get the Misfits and Romero together, you know, that was fucking cool that they did that, and that they, you know, he directed the Scream video and they were in the movie. That was a beautiful masterstroke from Jerry, trying to take the band to different places.
Well, I think that Scream song from that album was supposed to be
for Wes Craven.
Wes Craven, yeah.
That's the thing. Jerry was always chasing. He wanted a song on a movie soundtrack. Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Forbidden Zone was supposed to be for the Lost in Space movie in 1998, right? So he's always trying to, you know, figure that out, and it never worked. And I mean, Scream. I love the song Scream. I think it's a good song, but like that would never have worked in the movie Scream, but it totally worked for George Romero.
Yeah. Yeah. That was great.
That's how I feel about that.
For sure. Have we heard from any of those guys, the 96 version of the band?
In what sense?
Like Chud or Michael or anybody, have they surfaced recently other than hate for Michael?
Well, Michael Graves and I do not see eye to eye. We've had a lot of conflict in the past. Most recently, he had done a reaction video to one of my videos about him.
Okay.
And so he was really mad in the video. He was like, why don't you just, he's like, Jeff, you have my email. Why don't you just email me? I'll come on your show. So I said, so fine. So come on my show. We'll talk, you know? And I try to create a scenario where he could talk where I could ask him questions and he would answer. So he's not allowed to ask me any questions, and I'm not allowed to answer any questions. So it would only be me asking questions and him answering them. And he pussied out on that. And Chud, don't even get, oh God. And those two dudes got into a whole fight recently because Chud's going down to South America to sing those songs. And that's Michael's last market. He literally cannot get a gig anywhere else to save his life. And so now, that's, all about guarantees and things, right? So your guarantee, a guarantee, a fear guarantee is going to be way different than, say, a range war guarantee, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's how it works. That's just the business. Yeah. So if you have one guy who goes down there and does Famous Monsters and American Psycho in its entirety, and then he's the lead singer and he sings those songs, then you have the drummer who wrote some of those songs going down there and also singing those songs, then the promoters might be like, hey, we just had this down here, and you know how that is, or we're going to offer you less money because we offered him less money. That he probably, I bet you Chud took lighter guarantees than what Michael would have tolerated because it's his first time down there in a long time, maybe, right? Even if it's like a rare sort of thing. Yeah. Point being is that two competing guys in the same pool, it fucks with it messes up the business, right? In some way, shape, or form. Saturation. And so Michael made this post that was very interesting. I was surprised that he did that. He made this post just being like, I was the singer of these songs. You don't want to hear the drummer singing. He was just disparaging Chud. And here's the reality of it all. Like, put all the politics and the accusations and all that, whatever scummy shit aside, just put all of it aside for 1 second and realize that these two dudes, if they had just gotten together, Michael asked Chud to play South America with him and do American Psycho and Famous Monsters, both those albums. Had they done that, they would have created a tour package that could have gotten a much more awesome guarantee than anything either one of them could do solo. They would have they could have toured all over the world on that package. Yeah. And they would have jump-started both of their careers, what's left of them, in a really sort of miraculous way, filling a niche that's there. People want to hear those songs live. Like the original Misfits are now doing, 77 to 83, as should be, as is, right? Yeah. Yeah. But there's people still like those two records. So it's like, here's the other two guys going out there and doing those records together as one band. You'd be stupid to leave all that money on the table. And those two dudes, they're both stupid for different reasons, in my personal opinion. And, they can't get it together. And so now they're, instead of teaming up and going to Japan and Australia and New Zealand and Europe and like everywhere would have them. Everywhere would have it. Would be so fucking easy. And instead they're fighting.
I got to agree with you on that. I think that's so funny because just in the last 10 years, so many people have just commented on those records, how great they are and how much they like those records as its own thing. The Glenn stuff obviously is the Glenn stuff, and that's untouchable, but like, people love those other records too. And, well, again, I hope those guys can work out their differences or like you said, that sounds like it would be a good run for both of them, but
I legitimately think that they're both for different reasons. They're both too, this is me. I'm the one saying this. Nobody else. That they're just too fucking stupid to fucking like make 2 and 2 equal 4. They just can't, between, ego and ideology and other things, it's just never they just can't do it. And it really, at the end of the day, the people that really suffer truly are the fans.
Yeah.
Because there are people that do want to hear that stuff. And sure, people, like, if you have to choose between who you want to hear, obviously you want to hear Michael Graves, the original singer, singing his songs. You don't want to hear Dr. Chud, the drummer, singing songs. It's very strange. And it's just, nobody wins. Nobody wins in that situation. And what's interesting is, at least Glenn and Jerry could, figure out that instead of suing each other into the fucking ground, that instead we could just be making fucking money, and just like finally got their fucking acts together. And now, it's 2027, there's nothing going on. I hope that they do something. It's got to be some kind of 50th anniversary, something or other, that goes down. Because they didn't do anything 40th, right?
Yeah,
they didn't do anything.
They didn't do Initium 84 or 2024 would have been awesome too.
That would have been cool. But he said he was like 30th anniversary. We're done. That's it. We're not. I'm done. I'm putting this to bed.
That makes sense. I mean, it's up to him, it's his thing.
It is his thing. It is his thing. But seeing Doyle and Danziger out touring right now, clearly, and I had heard that the contracts were up or whatever. So clearly nobody's signed anything yet that, puts everybody back aligned. But hopefully they will, because, I mean, come on, dude.
Every show that I attended, I would sit onto the side of the stage and I would just go like, I can't believe I'm seeing this happen. It was great every time. It was just like, my 14-year-old self was just grinning, ear to ear. And they played great. They got better and better as they progressed. They were on the end, they were on fire. It was like really, really a oiled machine, just really, really.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
I have to agree. It really is remarkable.
In Newark, they were just phenomenal. I mean, I was like, holy crap, this is great.
I think the MSG show was, for me, the pinnacle of it all. Like,
I missed that one, but yeah.
That was like it. I was like, that is it. They had the Damned played. They played. That was, in fact, that was near Pinch's last show, right? Mm-hmm. Because he left shortly thereafter, and then COVID happened, and then Scabies came back.
Yeah, he went to Me First in the Gimme Gimmes or whatever.
Oh, did he? What Scabies did?
No.
Pinch.
Yeah.
Right. And that's had him interesting too, to see CJ Ramon is now plays with the Gimmes.
Oh, okay.
He's with the Gimmes. And that whole situation fucking bums me out too. Ramones.
Did you go to the Arturo Vega exhibit?
No, I wanted to go, and I couldn't get my act together.
I had a bunch of stuff that I worked on in that exhibit, and
really,
I took my daughter to Long Island to go to her college, and I drove to the city to go to that thing, and it was phenomenal. I was really happy that Howell Arts organization put that museum show on for Arturo. That was great.
I wish I had gone. I had Mickey Lee on the show, and he was
cool.
And we talked all about, it was a Ramon show. It wasn't about his career personally, but that's another situation that just bums me out. I wish that everybody could get along in that camp and just make, give us, the fans, some really good reissues, and get the projects off the ground, the movie projects all working. And it just sucks.
Linda bought everybody out, correct?
Linda is now, as far as I know, at least the last time I spoke to Mickey. The last time I spoke to Mickey, I don't know if I should say I don't know that it's finalized, but that Linda is the last woman standing, and that she basically has, and the way it works, and this is not talking out of school, because I think Mickey even said this on the show, but the way it works is that, every time a member left, they would lose their interest in the band.
Right.
And by the end of the band, the only two controlling interests, even though there were other members of the band, were both when Marky came back, he was basically a hired gun, right, to an extent.
Yep.
And CJ was a hired gun.
Yep.
And Dee Dee left the band, so he lost his interest, and Tommy lost his interest.
Yep.
That didn't mean that they didn't get money from the Ramones and various royalties and this, that, and the other. But
no, they lost their ownership.
Right, their ownership of like the corporation. So that really came down to Johnny and Joey were the sole owners.
50-50 split, and that
was a 50-50 split. Yeah,
that's caused a lot of approval delays and issues where they couldn't agree, so they didn't do it. Like when I worked in the band, it was 50-50 split, and they would deadlock all the time on multiple things. Arturo,
that was when they were still alive. That's when they were still alive.
No, Johnny or Joey had passed, but Johnny was still alive for a little bit. But Johnny passed right after Joey did, or not long after Joey did. It was Joey, then Dee Dee, then Johnny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the families just couldn't work it out. Charlotte and Mickey were on Joey's side, and Linda was the other part, but they just couldn't make it work. And it's unfortunate, but if they've come to a solution, or good for them. But
no, as far as I know that he has been bought out, and she has. I mean, they were locked. They were locked in an insane lawsuit, and they just couldn't. They were gridlocked, and then I don't know what happened in the lawsuit, but basically she bought him out, and neither one of them had children, Johnny or Joey. So it deferred first to Charlotte and then to Mickey after Charlotte, and Linda has been on just. So Linda is the consolidation. And after whenever Linda passes, I don't know what happens after that. I don't know, but it's crazy.
I don't know either. I've met Linda just a handful of times. I don't really know her. I worked with Dave Fry, who was Mickey's manager.
So I know Dave, and I had Dave and Mickey on the show.
Oh, cool.
And so I know about all that.
Yeah.
And but that episode never came out. We did about 3 hours.
Okay.
And it didn't come out because the Zoom that I had done corrupted. And so I had actually done a follow-up with Dave. Dave is such an awesome, cool dude.
Dave's
really love that dude.
Dave's from Chicago.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Has a heavy history in rock and roll with Blues Traveler and Cheap Trick, and
he's doing that documentary with the Bill Graham documentary, I think it was.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah. Dave's out of Charlottesville, Virginia, I think, or last time I talked to him, he was.
But he was Mickey's manager.
Yeah.
And he was Mickey's manager, and he was also the president of the
RPI.
Of RPI, and now he's not. He was ousted.
Right.
But he's an awesome dude. He's been very gracious and generous to me with both his time and his expertise, and just really appreciate Dave a lot. Like him a lot.
That's cool.
He's a cool guy. Yeah.
For a while there, they were all getting along and working together and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that kind of ended, but it's just one of those things, man. I hope Linda knows what she's doing.
It's yet to be determined. I see stuff like Mickey posts stuff on Facebook all the time. Like the great example, and I got to tell you, I don't blame Mickey for reading into this. Mickey saw there was a reissue of it was like a picture disc.
Yep.
And the way that the picture disc, and I got to tell you, I know this sounds so fucking petty and insignificant, but this shit matters to people, and politics between members and business and dealings within organizations. The way that the picture was placed, it was blocking Joey. It just showed the other three members. And so it very was it? Who could say? I'll take this with a complete grain of salt. Allegedly, who actually knows what the intention was there, but the way that the picture is taken, it looks like Joey is blocked in the thing, and it's very strange.
I gotta say, when I'm doing ads for a product,
right, you understand that, right? Like
I show for approval the owners of said IP to just like show them what I'm advertising and how I'm advertising it, just so they can see.
Yeah.
So that must have gone through some hoops before it was made public, I would imagine. But again, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate, I guess.
Right. We couldn't actually know, but it's just the idea that like every frame is very well thought out, which that's why this was interesting. This is what I'm referring to in question right here. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Is this it? Yeah, here it is. So this was posted to the Ramones thing, but you can see here very clearly, like, where's Joey?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be nothing. It literally could be nothing, but it's just interesting. It's like, wow, you would slide. It's weird to have the disc. It's to show the die cut disc. How about this? It's very easy to read into something like that, whether it's there or not. That's what I mean to say. So I don't know. That was an interesting one. I was kind of like, huh. And that was brought to my attention by Mickey, who was talking about it. He posted very snarkily. He said, if anyone's confused by this ad on the Ramones media, which shows Johnny, Tommy, and Dee Dee, but Joey goes unseen, be assured he was in the Ramones and he is on the album. That's how he views it. So using sarcastic humor to communicate that fact.
Yeah. Well, just mudslinging, I guess. I don't know. That sucks.
It does suck, dude. It really does. I just want a Ramones biopic. I want, like, give me all the Ramones shit, man. I just saw the Michael. Did you watch the Michael biopic?
Yes, I did.
I thought it was going to be one thing, and it turned out to actually be really fucking cool, like really interesting and good. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I drove home from the theater listening to Thriller.
Yeah, dude. I said this too. My one thought about that, and I guess if I could comment on the pre-production process of a Ramones biopic, like I don't need recreations of the famous iconic thing that I've seen on YouTube a million times. Mm-hmm. I don't need to see the Thriller music video. I don't need to see the black and white music video. Show me all the costuming, but show me some little intimate moment that, we never have seen as fans. And like
him hanging out with the gang members was great.
Right. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that, like the Victory Tour, the backstage stuff. It's like the Victory Tour is very iconic footage. Right. But it's just like, and that's cool. And obviously they reshot the ending, but it's like the core stuff between him and the father. It's like that to me is far more interesting than, and listen, I love the Live Aid, footage they did of Queen. Mm-hmm. Amazing. But it's like, dude, the footage exists already.
Yeah.
Like show us something that we haven't seen or couldn't imagine.
Yep.
Instead of the, iconic. It only makes sense really, like if somebody ever made a Misfits biopic, like you could recreate any footage because that footage is so rarely it's so limited in circulation, and it would be very interesting to see recreations of that as opposed to the Thriller music video that we've seen 100,000 times.
Yeah, to your point, the part where Michael goes into the toy store and the kids see him and freak out. Those are the things that I'm more interested in, like you said. Coleman Domingo did a great job as the dad.
He should have gotten an Oscar, man.
Yeah, I think he was really good.
He was really good. In fact, because I was like, how are they going to do this? Like, what period is this going to cover? How is this going to be? You remember that great 90s made-for-TV movie they did? That was great. I was like, how is this going to work? The core of his relationship with his father was the perfect antagonistic force.
Yeah.
Something that was real, but then, dramatized for a, 2-hour biopic. Perfect. And the way that, like, the period that they cover, perfect. I was like, wow, this is really great. So even if they do a part 2, which is fine, I'll watch a part 2.
Yeah.
Like, just to see that enclosed movie. And he, as again, nepotism. Sure, he's the nephew of Michael Jackson. He was so fucking talented. He was perfect. He brought Michael to life, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, at times you're like, is this really a biopic, or is this, footage they found laying around? It was dude, really well done.
He is fucking Michael Jackson, man.
Yeah.
He's fucking Michael Jackson. He really did it. And what was really tripping me out when I was watching it, I was watching on an airplane. I was coming back from Breckenridge. Here's what was really tripping me out. He's doing scenes against a guy playing his grandfather.
Right.
Like, that's his grandfather.
Right.
He's acting with an actress. What's her face? She's a great actress. Who's playing Catherine, his actual grandmother.
Right.
He's doing these. He's recreating these scenes with his uncles as his brothers. Very trippy.
Yeah.
Very, very trippy.
Very, very interesting for sure.
But
did you watch the Austin Butler?
Yeah, I love that too. Loved it. Loved it. I thought it was so fucking good, dude. I'm not a big Elvis guy, so I think it was even better for me because I'm not a big Elvis guy. So I really fucking just loved it. The thing I didn't love was when they started, and again, this was very strange to me. They started to they were touching on things like the civil rights movement and stuff. And I was like, look, I appreciate the sentiment. This movie doesn't need that. That's not what this movie is about. Like, you're trying to mix two things that don't really the focus really should just remain on, other aspects of Elvis, in trying to turn this into, I don't know what they were trying to do with it. I don't know if there was.
I think there was some backlash, some fake backlash that.
Oh, was there really?
Elvis was a racist, yeah, but they were trying to show that he was not a racist. He was very much, everybody's equal, and
yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was I read somewhere that some people were giving him shit for being a racist, and he was definitely not a racist at all. But I think that's what that film footage was trying to depict, that he wasn't.
It was unnecessary. It was. Yeah. I mean, the adding that was. I didn't need that. It did not service the story for me. What it felt like, if it felt natural, it would have been fine. It felt like it was really purposely shoehorned in.
Well, again, you're probably talking about some execs that want to sell more tickets and show that he's not. Yeah. Question: who do you think deserves a biopic?
Who deserves a number one, top of the line, number one, my number one that and I've written several treatments, not because I ever think I could ever throw my hat in the ring, but just because his story and his mythology, and I've read books about him and stuff. Mm-hmm. He really captures my imagination. I fucking love him. Like, I love just everything about him. And so I've tried so hard to sort of come up with this, genre, sort of horror, undead, whatever thing. Fucking Screaming Jay Hawkins, dude.
Yeah.
Number one at the tippy top. If you say, Jeff, you could have one biopic from, who would it be? Be Screaming motherfucking Jay Hawkins.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I love Screaming Jay Hawkins. And he's fascinating. His mythology talk about like an artist surrounded by mysterious mythology. The legend behind him even recording "I Put a Spell on You" is fucking legend. It used to be a waltz.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it used to be dun 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 dun, dun. And he wasn't nailing it, and then he got blackout drunk. And so what you're hearing on the tape, supposedly, you know, because he lied through his teeth about everything, you know, which makes it even better. And, you know, this is a false quote attributed to to Stephen King. It's not Stephen King who came up with this, but when you have to decide between the legend and the truth, always go with the legend.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, and to that extent, I think that's what I think about. And I think maybe that's why I gravitate and love the Misfits so much too, is that there's so much mythology around the original Misfits, and all the stories and the this and the that, and like just everything. And it reminds me of Screamin' Jay Hawkins, of which the Misfits obviously take inspiration. So I just think, right. So it's just like, so for me, number one is Screamin' Jay Hawkins. What about you?
That's a tough one. I've never really thought about that. Maybe Jim Ellison from Material Issue, maybe, because there's a story arc there and an ending, a beginning and an end. And
I don't know anything about that. I don't even know what you just said. Who is that? I don't know anything about that.
Material Issue was a band from Chicago in the 80s. Okay. They had a song called Valerie Loves Me, and all these great pop songs. And they got kind of big. They had a song called What Girls Want. Anyway, check them out if you get it. Definitely will. If you like Cheap Trick, you'll like Material Issue.
I like Cheap Trick. Sure.
Anyway, they got kind of big, and this is pre-grunge. Grunge hit and kind of stole the wind out of their sails, and then the guy killed himself. He got depressed and put his moped on in the garage and killed himself over a girl.
Jesus.
But he had just gotten dropped by Polygram, and all this stuff all happened all at once to him. And, you know, it's just it's a good story, because there's so much going up, and they were on MTV, like Daisy Fuentes, and like all this, you know, big blow up in, you know, 89, 88, 89. And they got really big, and then grunge came and, you know, sidelined them. But the material, the songs are great, and it's a really sad story and stuff. I think that would be a good biopic, because I learned from doing that Black Flag documentary, which never came out. You have to have a rise, a story arc, and a real story to tell. And Black Flag just at the time didn't have a story to tell. It was kind of just like, it was a band, it's an influential, and that's the end. It's kind of like the Replacements. They don't really have a big crazy story arc. You know, they built they had a good body of work, and then they kind of frizzled out. You know, it wasn't like
you need a story. That's why Screamin' Jay Hawkins is the best of all.
Yeah, I think I agree 100% with Screamin' Jay would be a great one.
I mean, just imagine, and like it would ride the fine line between like the imaginary and the fantasy and like the real, in the same way that Ed Wood. Like you would want like a Tim Burton style, Ed Wood style Screamin' Jay Hawkins thing.
Yeah.
And the other one that I really want, not because I've talked a lot of shit about this guy on my show. I'm not a fan of 99% of his music. Gigi Allen. I'm not a Gigi guy.
Okay. Yeah. Me neither. I don't know much about his, what I've heard of the music is okay. I just haven't really, but I know there's a lot of crazy stories and a lot of hard living and just crazy stuff. So yeah, I mean, but that's happening, I think, isn't it?
It's not happening. I thought it was happening. It was supposed to be by the guy, the drummer of Bathory. Who directed Lords of Chaos, was supposedly doing a Gigi biopic, who I thought was the man for the job, because he did such a masterful job with Lords of Chaos, which is the other biopic that I would pick and we got. That's a biopic right there.
Yeah.
And what I love that it starts with, this movie is about the truth, the lies, and everything in between.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you can really frame any biopic. There's never going to be, in the same way that a documentary can never truly be 100 billion% unbiased, so too can a biopic never truly be, pinpoint accurate. And so you need that kind of bend. And that's why I think stuff like Screaming Jay Hawkins or Gigi Allen are perfect material for biopics. Iggy Pop too would be amazing.
I think Iggy would be amazing. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the stories there have got to be just mind blowing.
There's my top 3 right there. And and lo and behold, they're all shock rockers, right? Yeah. So to me, I mean, you could have the core of the relationship for Screaming Jay Hawkins would be him and Alan Freed, who, if everybody doesn't know, Alan Freed coined the term rock and roll. Yep. And got caught up in the payola scandal, and he was the guy who paid Jay to jump out of a coffin. Jay was afraid to do it. There's so much fucking there. I mean, you could have Spike Lee would probably do a great job with Screaming Jay.
I gotta agree with you on that. That would be phenomenal.
Right? He would do a good job. He'd probably put a lot of messaging in there, which is fine. I mean, I imagine that's his license to do that. But he would just scream, or it would be Tim Burton, obviously, would be my other choice. And then, and if you want to listen to the only good Gigi Allen that I've ever found, not that I've really swam through the waters of his catalog all that much, but that Jabbers record is a great record. That first record is good. It's a good record.
His brother Merle was my neighbor for a little while.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, when I lived in Lakewood, he lived down the street, and I was.
Was he a nice guy?
Super nice guy. I was shipping orders one day, and I'm like, "Oh, this is right down the street. It's Merle Allen. I know who that is." So I walked down there and I knocked on his door and gave him his order, and he's like, "Why am I getting this delivered?" I'm like, "I live down the street," and he's like, "No way." Yeah, so he was really nice.
He's like, selling paintings of his brother in his own poop. Like,
yeah.
very eccentric.
Yeah,
but that's how I would, that's how I would frame. So let's say that I'm telling if I was telling the Screaming Jay Hawkins story, it would be like Tim Burton via Big Fish, right? It'd be like a Big Fish, like hyper exaggerated, surreal story of Screaming Jay Hawkins. If I was doing, if it was Gigi Allen, I would make Merle the narrator of
the Gigi Allen pick.
Yeah, I would make Merle the narrator. And I think, that's you got to find like a really good anchor that lends to the story that transcends the real history, in the same way that Michael Jackson and Joe Jackson is a story of talented father, versus domineering, overbearing, abusive father. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I totally understand what you're saying. There was something I was going to ask you if you liked, anyway, I don't know if it warrants a biopic, but the death story is so profound. The Detroit guys.
Yes. It's a great story. I have a caveat for that. Finish what you're saying, and then I'll say.
No, I'm just saying, I think that would be just a good story. But the problem with biopics is that your audience needs to know who they are for it to be successful. I think when you're getting into the Gigi Allens of the world and the Screaming Jay Hawkins, I think people don't know. They know I put a spell on you, but they don't know who Screaming Jay Hawkins is. I think they know it from CCR, or they know it from
You're right.
Again, unfortunately, a lot of the audience won't know who Screaming Jay Hawkins was, and that's what the key point to success is going to be for the audience to know who it's about.
So I think that So here's my and I see why you're saying that as it relates to death.
Somebody just said a Chrissy Hind one, and I agree with that too.
Yeah, John of Doom. John Heim says that. He says Chrissy Hind, based on her book, Reckless would be amazing. Also, Black Sabbath biopic would be great. You're right, John. You're right about all those. Here is
Sade.
Yeah. Here's my problem with death. From a biopic standpoint, no. In fact, biopic is probably the best thing for death.
Right.
I really have grown frustrated with is the sort of revisionist history surrounding death that I think it came about because of that documentary. Great documentary, great music.
Yeah.
Right. Great band, not an issue. My issue is this notion that they are somehow retroactively they're considered to be these punk pioneers. And my point of contention, and I have to be very careful and nuanced about how I say this, but the reality is that this band didn't actually influence anybody. Nobody knew about it. Nobody knew about them. So how could they be punk pioneers? I see all the time, I see comments where people just list death next to the Ramones and the Stooges and MC5 and just like all these and New York Dolls. And it's a head scratcher for me because I'm like, look, I'm not saying that they're not great. I'm not saying that they were not there long before anybody else. What I'm saying
nobody
is
knew about them.
They were in a vacuum.
Yeah.
You can't give them this retroactive historical credit that they didn't earn.
Well, to your point, they only made 500 of that single,
and there was 7 songs. That was it.
And they gave them out for free as promo items, but nobody ever, no record store stocked that record. Nobody knew what it was.
Right.
It was such an anomaly, it just happened to be the sound that developed later on. The brother that predicted it would be big was correct. But he didn't reach the audience that, it's like if you're Christopher Columbus and you get stuck midway across the ocean, what you're saying is you can't be a settler if you don't make it to dry land.
What I'm saying, I mean, that's one analogy for sure. What I'm saying is that you can't lump death in with the Stooges,
right,
or the Ramones, who not only had pioneered this sound themselves, but had deeply affected so many different parts of the world.
Right.
So
because they reached it is what I'm trying to say. They made it.
Yes. And that's why that analogy works. Right. Exactly. And and now here's the other piece that really pisses me off personally is that bands who are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yet, which I think is a fucking crime. The Bad Brains. You have the Bad Brains, right? One of the most influential fucking punk bands. Their sound shaped so many things that came after it. So fucking impactful, right?
Sure.
On hardcore music, whatever you want to say, right? Even if you want to go as punks of color, black punks, right? You had Pure Hell in 73, right? Yep. And then you had Fishbone.
Yep.
And it's just all these bands are kind of pushed to the side for death a little bit. And that kind of bums me out a little bit too. Cause I'm just dude, how, why, the Bad Brains were out there fucking, how can you, I don't understand how this works. It just doesn't sit well with me. And I don't want to take any accolades away from death because they did fucking awesome and great. It's fucking cool. I have Death is in my Spotify playlist. I think they're great. Yeah. It's just this, I guess it's it's a semantical thing.
It's the retroactive it's
revisionist.
Influence. Yeah, revisionist. You're right.
It's revisionist history. It just doesn't fly with me as a passionate punk historian on YouTube. To me, it just doesn't sit well because I'm that's not accurate. That's not accurate.
here's another example of a band that never made it to dry land, and that's Los Psychos from Brazil.
Right, 1964, Argentina.
64. Yeah, Argentina.
Yeah,
great, and
incredible.
Definitely pioneering punk. But it wasn't punk at the time. Yeah,
right.
It was just garage. It was just rock and roll, but it sounds like a garage rock band that'd be on Estrus or one of those,
It would sound like it'd be on Estrus. Love Estrus.
Yeah, that's what
Absolutely.
I'm saying. But again, we're not detracting from what they are. You're just saying that they never influenced anybody because nobody knew about them, which I understand. And that film was just a good story. Like,
great story.
I resonated with that film because I was a musician that worked my ass off and never made it or never got discovered or never got to dry land,
Yeah.
So
was this Waterworld?
It resonated with me. What's that?
I said, what is this, Waterworld? It's just because you get the dry land thing. Whenever I hear dry land, it makes me think of Waterworld.
Okay.
No, it's fine. I love Waterworld. I literally love Waterworld. In fact, I have the Arrow box set right over there because I love it so much. But no, exactly that. So it's like, and it's very hard to have this conversation without the nuance. You need the nuance in sort of context. Because, like, again, I am a diehard, ginormous Fishbone fan.
Right.
I've seen Fishbone so many fucking times. Probably seen them like 10 or 12 times in 20 years. And I've seen the Bad Brains a few times, and I love fucking Bad Brains. And so to me, it's like when people talk about like breaking down doors, like what Fishbone broke down doors. The Bad Brains broke down doors. They were out there. They were in the scenes. Fishbone very famously got sandbagged and sidelined because of their fucking color of their skin. Their fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers go to #1 with Blood Sugar Sex Magic, and you had the fucking Fishbone. They were doing it fucking years before. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and somebody, I forgot what show it was. Maybe it was Fat Mike. It was somebody who was like, why did that happen? Or why did this happen? It was like, because fucking Midwestern audiences like gravitated towards Red Hot Chili Peppers and not fucking Black Fishbone from Southern California, And so it's like when people then go back and they're like, yeah, Death, they were this black punk band, they were there before anybody else. It's like, it's just kind of like it erases Fishbone, and that upsets me. It erases fucking Bad Brains, dude. It's like fucking Bad Brains were, when the first time you hear the Bad Brains, first time I heard the Bad Brains, I thought I was hearing these 4 skinny, angry fucking white guys. First time I saw a picture of the Bad Brains, it just flipped my mind. I was like, you can't make assumptions about who people are, because when you like, it's incredible. I completely thought that they were one way, in the same way that a lot of people heard Eminem for the first time or like thought he was a black guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing. And it cheapens their blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifice and all this, that, and the other. So it's a great story.
Not if you appreciate them, though. I mean, I understand what you're saying. But you still love Fishbone, and it's great. I love Fishbone.
Yes.
I mean, it's great stuff.
Yes.
Just the mainstream just shunned them because it just didn't work for them,
That's a heartbreaking story, because when I hear Everyday Sunshine, I'm like, that is a fucking that's like a top 10 hit. There's no reason that.
Well, what's that other song? Hey Ma and Pa, what's wrong? What the
Ma and Pa is fucking
fantastic.
Fantastic.
That could have been No Doubt, like, bigger than No Doubt.
Yes, dude.
I'm not a No Doubt fan. I think her voice is.
Oh, really? I love
not
No
for
Doubt.
Me.
It's
that's
case
fair. By case,
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think that Fishbone could have been bigger than No Doubt, or just as big.
Yeah. True.
It's just unfortunate. Hey, I ran into a Chilean punk band from 1985 called Leuzemia, Leuzemia.
Hold on. Spell that one more time. Put it in my Spotify.
Leu.
Leu.
Yeah, Zem.
Got it.
IA. And I figured you would like it. It's very much Naked Ray Gun like stuff, but it was from Chile in the 80s, and I'd never heard of it before, but it was really good.
Now.
anyway, check that record out. It's them like standing up against a brick wall, like the Ramones.
Yeah, I see it. I see it right now. I just click follow. Do you know? Okay, I have 2 recommendations for you because we should wrap this up because it's like fucking midnight. I have to go. And we've been talking. Wow, we talked way longer than I thought we were going to talk.
Yeah,
but it's always good talking to you, Rob. This is great. We got to have you back, man. It's so fucking fun.
We need to do a podcast on the perfect song. Like,
yes.
The perfect song, whether
we're gonna get
I want you to want me or like something like that.
How about we do this? 10 top 10 perfect songs.
Right now?
No, not right now.
Oh,
save it.
Yeah.
Save it. Let's do a show about top 10. You have to pick 10 or maybe 5. Is 10 too many? 5? Or should we do 10?
We've gone on for almost 3 hours now.
All right, 10. We'll do 10. So 10 perfect songs, criteria that it's just what is the criteria for a perfect song? Just that it's perfect. Perfect structure, perfect lyrics, perfect makes you feel, what they're feeling or you know what I mean? Like, yes. Oh, I love this. Yes. Yes. Okay. So that's for next time. We'll get some books. Maybe we can do something in August. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm around.
All right, let's save that for August.
Okay.
I want to end the show. I want to give you some recommendations. First one is, have you ever heard of Permanente Paralysis?
No.
I'm butchering that. They're from South America. They're like this. Maybe they're Mexican. They're like goth. They're like Mexican goth, but like post-punk goth, not like goth, like post-punk goth. Really fucking great. Permanente. Here, let me see if I get Permanente. Come on, Jeff. I can't remember how to paralysis. Doesn't show. All right, I'm gonna have to find it for you. That's number 1.
Okay, got it.
I'll text it to you. You don't have to write it down.
Okay,
I won't forget. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about, this is what the kids are into right now. And this is what garage rock brought me out to the West Coast with, first with Burger Records before it imploded. I'm sure familiar with Burger Records, but like all that stuff, like Tijuana Panthers and the Frights and Fiddler, like all that West Coast wonderful stuff, that sort of the OCs. I literally could go on and on. Just all those fucking bands. And it brought me to this group called the Pukes, who put out one. You've heard of the Pukes?
Yeah.
Dude, you are the fucking man if you know. Wait, the song Murderer?
I don't remember the song titles.
I'll murder you too. It's like dirty doo-wop. Oh my God. But it's like garage rock, dirty doo-wop. So fucking good. All right, the Pukes is one. And then that exposed me, like the garage, the new neo garage stuff. Obviously, I was into the Mummies stuff. Been to the Mummies forever, but that they were sort of like the Mummies and the Oblivions are kind of like the forebears of what would come, right? All that.
Yeah.
And Devil Dogs, New Bomb Turks. That's like the 90s garage rock. But then I discovered something called egg punk. Are you familiar with egg punk? So egg punk is what it's the newest craze. This is what all the kids are into.
Okay.
And egg punk is about, it's fucking either really, really fast, just like really fast, dirty, rough, garage demo type shit. Mm-hmm. Like obviously, like, again, like, the great grandchildren of Jay Retard, except that the drumming element is usually a drum machine.
Ooh.
So for instance, no, it's fucking amazing.
Okay.
And have you ever heard of Sex Mex?
No, but that's a great name.
Brand new. He's brand new. He's this autistic guy who he records all the songs. He's prolific as fuck. He puts out all this music, but when he plays live, everything's pre-programmed except the drums, and he sings live while he's playing the drums.
Oh, awesome.
And he's an animal. So I wouldn't call him he's kind of egg punk, but not really. Egg punk, it's just like bedroom, like instead of SoundCloud rappers making beats in their bedroom, It's kids making garage rock. Abby Ooze, she's my fucking favorite. She's super fucking underground. Her name's Abby Ooze, and she has an EP called the Bad Egg EP, 12 minutes long. And like I said, I will listen to that record five times in an hour, just over and over and over again, just on repeat. She plays all her instruments and she sings and she does the whole fucking thing. And she does not care about social media or she pops up every once in a while. And I've managed to nail her down. I managed to nail her down for an interview. So I interviewed her on my show. And she really fucking I find her to be very fucking inspiring. And then after you came on my show and I gave you those recommendations, I discovered a band called Bad Nerves.
Oh yeah.
They're starting to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
And those are my dudes. Those are my dudes. I had them on my show.
Yeah. But
what was really crazy is I found them on Spotify and then I had them on the show, and the bass player, he goes, John, he's like, "Oh, you're the guy that always talks about the Misfits.
Oh,
I listen to your show all the time." I was like, dude, that's so fucking nuts, bro. But their first record is one of like Blood Visions before, and they're also Jay Retard fans as well.
Okay.
That record is my Blood Visions of the 2020s. So
I think Fear played with Bad Nerves or had them open at some point somewhere.
It's very possible because Bad Nerves, since I had them on my show, not because I had them on my show, but since 2020 is when they released that record, they have been getting bigger and bigger. They are fucking doing it. They are really doing it. Now they're opening for the Sex Pistols and shit. It's really fucking cool. And those dudes are so goddamn fucking talented. I can't get over. I recommend them to everybody who will fucking listen. Bad Nerves. Listen to that self-titled record. They got 2 LPs out right now. Still Nervous is good. In fact, Antidote off of Still Nervous might be your first listen, because that is like it's like drinking a bottle of Coca-Cola if it was laced with cocaine. It like makes your heart palpitate when you listen to it. It's so fucking, the drums, it's very much in the vein of like Jay Retard. The drums are so fucking fast on Antidote. I can't get over, and that he does that live somehow. I don't know how they fucking play that song live. You got to listen to Dreaming, also a great song. And their
font is the Ramones font. It's the same font as Ramones.
Yes, it is. Yes, because they are big, because they're huge fucking Ramones fans.
Yeah.
And John loves the Ramones. Bobby, who's the lead singer, he is a huge fucking fan of the Beatles. And he never released any of it, but he re-recorded all the fucking he re-recorded all of Abbey Road.
Oh.
Yeah, just because he loves the Beatles so much. He sent me some of it. It was very interesting. And then the last thing I'll tell you about is a band called Prison Affair.
Oh, I know Prison Affair.
You know Prison Affair.
We tried to get Prison Affair to open for Fear last year.
Oh, why didn't it work out?
I forgot why. They're from Spain or somewhere.
They're from Spain, and I've seen them live twice, dude.
Yeah.
And they're the best, dude. They're the best.
Do you know the Judah record?
No.
Okay, so Judah is a band that toured with Fear and DOA a couple of years ago. There's an album called Racy Roller. And if you like Slade or Sweet and
I do.
AC/DC put together, they have a black singer.
What's the name one more time?
Judah. Giuda. Judah.
Giuda.
Racy Roller is the album that you want to download.
Okay, Racy Roller.
Fantastic. They've been around for a long time, but that Racy Roller record from start to finish is just masterpiece.
Okay, I see it.
They're from Italy. They're from Italy, and once you listen to that record, you will not take it off. It's so good.
Okay, I have one last recommendation for you, and then we're going to end the show.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bradley Noel's son.
Yeah,
Jacob.
Yep.
Right. Who, and I'm in love with the new Sublime record. It's the one time, again, the reoccurring theme of nepotism will only get you so far in a situation because you have to have talent. And Jacob Noah is fucking oozing talent out of his body. That guy is so fucking just incredible. He has a band that he does outside of Sublime called Jacob's Castle, signed to Epitaph.
Okay.
And they have a single called what's the name of the single? Don't listen to the record. The record is, I'm not a big fan of the record. Vincent Thomas. As soon as you get off this show, it's about, he wrote it about the bridge. It's about the bridge.
Got it.
So he wrote this song called Vincent Thomas. This is I haven't stopped listening to the song over and over and over again.
Okay.
Such a good fucking song. Robert, 2 more recommendations. 2 more. I got 2 more because I just saw 2 more.
Okay.
Don't hate me.
It's okay.
Okay. Wait. All right. First recommendation.
Yep.
This band is from Australia. You're gonna love this band.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna love this band because of the name of the band.
Okay.
Where they took their name of the band from this element that you're loving. I'm burying the lead here. They're defunct because their guitar player died of cancer in 20.
Bummer.
They just got started, dude. Young 20-somethings. They started playing Europe. They put out this one fucking record. One record. And it's a masterpiece. In fact, I went to their Bandcamp. They had 1 copy left, pressed of 500, and I snagged it. It's the last. I mean, I'm assuming because they're very small. I mean, they barely have anybody on Spotify. They're very, 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 very small band. Unknown band. They only have 905 monthly listeners on Spotify, so they're not very well known. They're called Romero. And they got a female lead singer who has a voice. I mean, so obviously there's a little bit of Blondie, there's a little bit of Strokes, but the lead singer's voice is so, I can't even describe
it. Turn it on?
To me. Yes, turn it on. That's right.
Okay.
And listen to the song Honey.
Okay.
That's the first one that I ever heard. I listened to Honey the first time. It kind of reminded me of the Expressos from the Monster Club soundtrack.
Okay.
From the 1981 movie. Very strange, obscure reference. But this band, Romero, this song Honey would be on my list actually of perfect songs. Absolutely on my list. Like I just, spoiler ahead of the time, that's going to be one of them. It's just this song, actually, no, it would be another one on the record. That whole fucking record, dude. I can't even tell you. You will listen to her voice and she will make you cry. She'll make your heart swell up. It's so fucking good. And the last recommendation is also a woman. You probably know her already. She's dating one of the Hives. Her name is Kate Clover. Have you ever heard of her?
I have heard of her. Yep.
She is fucking awesome. Channel Zero. Fucking, she's rad, dude.
I got 2 more for you.
All right, give them to me. Let's go.
Scary Pierre. Dude, it sounds like Joy Division with a girl singer, and it's fantastic. Scary. And the whole album, it's called Sticky Situation. Oh, that's the song. Hang on a second. The album
Scary
is called
Pierre. Hold on.
Sticky Situation is the album, and front to back, great really? Record.
Well,
there's like a
Scary Pierre Sticky Situation. I got it. All right, I'm adding
that's
that.
Great. And then dude, Die Spitz, from Austin. Probably the most kick-ass girl band ever.
I love, dude, girl bands are my thing, bro. I don't know what it is. I just love them.
Die Spitz is like, holy shit. And there's multiple singers.
I know them. I have, or at least I've liked one of their songs in the past. So yep, it's in my mix. See, so it's already in my mix. All right, so I know them.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Great, dude.
Well,
dude, let me know when you've listened to Romero. Of all those bands, Romero.
Okay.
I'm going to send you a text with like a ton of music in it, like Abbey and stuff. So I'll send it to you. So yeah, for August, your homework, you pick 10. I already know what like 3 of them are. You pick 10 songs, any genre.
10 perfect songs.
10 perfect songs. And here's the criteria for the song. The song is so fucking good that you can listen to it singularly over and over. And it's like Brian Wilson and Shortening Bread.
Okay. Got it.
All right.
All right.
All right,
Thanks
dude.
for having me on.
Hey, thank you. I love the great conversation. Great.
Yeah,
I love this stuff, dude. All right. So we'll see you in August.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Hang on one second.